This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 577 for the week of Sunday, July 7th, 2019. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Alex.
And on today's show, very special guest. He is translator for One Piece in Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. We have Stephen Paul with us. How's it going, Stephen?
It's great. It's a beautiful day outside. My wife is with her family at the beach, and I am inside podcasting.
My plan has worked to make Stephen miserable. We also have Anime News Network writer-reviewer for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, One Piece, Black Clover, many more. Sam Leach is here with us. How's it going, Sam?
Hey guys, One Piece is really good.
Yeah, we have an extended anime recap.
Fan.
Sam, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So don't worry, Sam, you'll get to talk all about One Piece for a very long period of time on today's episode. And last but certainly not least, we have Shannon Strucci from Strucci's Movies and more. How's it going, Shannon?
Going well. I'm excited to talk about this chapter.
Yeah, this is a fun one. This is a really crazy chapter.
Yeah.
We have a lot to do this week. We're going to be talking about chapter 948, introducing Kawamatsu the Kappa. I
wonder who shows up in this chapter.
We also have our anime recap. What is that for this week, Sam?
That is for episode 892.
Do you have the title or no?
I closed my document.
The land of Wano to the samurai country where cherry blossoms flutter.
Thank you, Ed.
I didn't close my tab.
We're also going to be going through opening 22. I believe that one's titled Over the Top, which you have to yell in like a Kita Donnie voice.
Starring Sylvester
right.
Stallone.
Yep, I was going to make that.
That was my
joke.
first thought.
Bastard.
So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that in the anime recap segment. We also, of course, have pieced together trivia, all of that. Before we get started, podcast news, we have launched a new Patreon podcast for you guys on patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. It's called Crewing Around, where we just screw around. Is that a little corny of a way to put that, Alex?
No.
So it's basically our kind of reboot of 20 minutes of soft reboot of 20 minutes of bullshit. Where instead of fun people like Alex and Steve talking, it's all of us talking. It has gotten reviews so far, including from Hyperbola Bully, who said, "Beach noises were fantastic. A+ seagull participation." And Zach definitely sounds like someone who would love the band Cake. That just gives you a little bit of a hint. Just gives you a little bit of a hint as to what you will get on the first episode, which was called Flock a Seagull. That's all on Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast for those $5 up. Totally worth it. It's an hour and a half of us just, shooting the shit, basically. So that's there. We also have some One Piece news, which we should talk a little bit about. First off, there's a new video game coming out. Alex, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yes. Pirate Warriors 4. For those of you who are fans of the Muso series, Pirate Warriors 4 is back, or Pirate Warriors is back, I guess. And the trailer came out as well. Looks like there's a focus on Gear 4th and Big Mom. There have also been some released renders of what Big Mom will look like, and she will be wielding Zeus. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
She'll be wielding Zeus and Prometheus, and I kind of hope that since it's not supposed to come out until next year, so I'm crossing my fingers that there's going to be enough Wano content as well.
Kaido's Club is in the logo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now that's interesting.
Any other thoughts on Pirate Warriors 4? Steven, I feel like you're our... Oh, Sam, go first. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm a big fan of the Pirate Warriors games, and I love that, like, all of the like most obvious characters that they could add since the last one, they're all like really exciting choices, like Big Mom, Katakuri, Carrot, like even some of the Dressrosa characters who didn't get in last time, like Bartolomeo.
I didn't get
some
3,
Cat
but I
Viper
might.
and Dogstorm in there.
Yeah. I might pick up this
Yeah.
one. Yeah. if I have a PS4 at that point. Let's not talk about that. But Stephen, what do you think? Because I know you're...
I for some reason it must have just been a feeling in the air. Like the other week, I took out my old copy of Pirate Warriors 3 because I was like 90% of the way to getting all the trophies, and I knew that I had not like finished
that
it
last stretch is rough.
Yeah, it is. But I've been having fun kind of getting back into it, and I was thinking to myself like, man, I don't know, all these like Warriors, these Muso spin-offs, it seems like 3 is about as much as you can get. I don't know. It's probably never going to happen again. And then like as soon as, I had pulled it out of the closet, they announced Pirate Warriors 4. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I really like it. I think it's a really good handheld game. I used to play most of it on the Vita, and so now they're going to have it on the Nintendo Switch as well this time. So that's going to be I think that's what I'll get.
Yeah, I've got 3 on the Switch.
That's right. They put that out.
I've got it on the PS4, and it's a game that I consistently come back to. I've been playing it for like so long. It's just a really fun, mindless thing, but it also is just One Piece related, and I don't know. It's a really great game where you can play as Fujitora. So that's all I need.
There was some other little bits of news. Anime Expo happened this weekend.
There was a One Piece panel. Funimation representatives were there, and on the new dub front, buy episode of East Blue in September because they didn't announce anything else. Pray harder.
Yeah, there hasn't been any news with that for a while. I know the internet is swarming for that. We've asked, and the answer has been no comment, and that there is no news at this point. So,
that's still the case. So,
we haven't asked in a little bit, but I assume that's still the case. But they did have some 20th anniversary messages from 2 people, Ed.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say them. Whatever. I'll say them. Mayumi Tanaka, the voice of Luffy in the Japanese version of One Piece. I think she gave like an extended message. Maybe it'll be posted at some point in the future.
She did. I can read Jill's tweets if you want.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Dennis was also at the panel and was tweeting as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thanks to Jill and Dennis, by the way, for doing some reconnaissance reporting for us there.
Yes. I'm not sure if Dennis has the deets for this particular message, but Jill had some points that she remembered because apparently they did not want people filming this. But it says when she was auditioning for Luffy, she wasn't reading Shonen Jump at the time and didn't really know the real popularity of it. She feels very happy to have been chosen because she thought that maybe people would have been tired of her boy voice after Luffy. She's been a voice actor for 40 years, but it feels like the 20 years of One Piece is what she thinks of the most. The way Luffy has learned that he can't do everything as a captain by himself is something that helped her as a leader in the theatrical group she's been a part of for 30 years. She says it helped her to learn to lean on others when she needs it. Her favorite arc is Alabasta, and she truly thought Vivi was coming with the crew. She says that when they sailed away, she felt like she left her heart with Vivi. She said that she would be okay with Luffy being her final role, and that it would be all right if she ends her career with One Piece. She believes that One Piece is coming up on the end, and that she will be looking forward to what comes, and hope that everyone else will too.
Wow. She seems awesome, by the way, separate and apart from that even, but including that, yes.
Yeah.
There was also a short, I guess it was an interview or something, or a little like message from Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. She apparently said that, it was like a message about her being a devoted One Piece fan. Her son introduced her to the series, and she's watched hundreds of episodes, and she feels like part of a family with the fans.
That's crazy.
Cool. Yeah,
it's super crazy.
We need to get her on this show. Every time Zach
hit us up.
Every time Zach is like in our chat, like, "Hey, who do you guys want to have for on the show for guests?" And the first person I always put down is Jamie Lee Curtis. Every single time.
And I'm like, yeah, me too, but it's not as easy as it sounds. I messaged her, I think, on Twitter before, and that's as far as I've gone there, because I don't know how else to contact Jamie Lee Curtis. To
be fair, you don't know how to contact anybody unless they have Twitter.
You're right. Emails, I know. If I could find those. Anyway. Yeah, if you know someone who does not have Twitter that's interested in coming on the show, please let me know. Not anyone. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we get into the show? Sounds like a no.
Nope.
Let's start out with some anime. Talk a little bit about the new opening and the new Wano episode. Then we'll get straight into the manga.
All right.
Let's do that thing.
This is the anime recap for episode 892, The Land of Wano, to the samurai country where cherry blossoms flutter. I'm your host Sam, and today we have a much more packed panel of people than usual.
Can't imagine why.
As usual, we have Ed.
Hi.
And we have our good friend Zach.
Hey, I'm everyone's good friend here.
And we have today, and dude, explanation, Alex.
His name's Alex.
Yo.
Yes. For some reason, I had to pull it out of my brain. And we have today's episode's guest. We have Shannon Strucci.
Hello.
Happy to have you all.
Thanks,
this is
Thank you.
a pretty important episode. We're sort of, the anime is sort of getting its reboot this week, so now it looks like an anime.
That's
Yeah,
fair. Yeah.
The soft reboot of One Piece.
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty natural starting point to talk about the new opening this week, Over the Top by Kitadani. I'm sorry, my brain is frying on me today. Kitadani
okay.
Hiro.
Yeah. Hiroshi Kitadani, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, what did you guys all think? Not to steal this completely from Sam. What did you guys all think of the opening?
It's gonna grow on me, I think, but right now I can't really figure it out. Like there's the intro and the outro. There's no real sort of chorus and verse structure to it. Like there's kind of a chorus, then there's a long verse, and then they finish off with the chorus again. So I'm sort of learning to anticipate it and sort of get used to it first before I can.
Yeah, we should talk about the music first. That's a good way to do this.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you think of the music? To turn the tables on you.
I think the music cool. I love the little opening bit where it's just kind of like a choir. It's kind of a choir sound as if he's in the prison and he's trying to break out.
I like it when they reprise that at the very end. Like the verse part of it is the part I don't have a rhythm of it yet. It doesn't seem to flow, but I like the beginning and the ending, and I think
See, I'm exactly the opposite. Yeah.
Really.
I could not recite the melody of the song just yet. I haven't heard it enough times, but
I've only heard it maybe a total of like 6 or 7 times because I've rewatched things a lot. But just like the chorus that sticks in my head. I'm not going to sing it because, as we discussed on this week's Patreon episode, I can't sing. But
it's been discussed on many episodes of the podcast.
That's also true. But I really liked the chorus. I thought the other parts were a little hokey. I mean, Alex, what?
Then we agree. That's what I was talking about. The beginning and the ending.
Yeah,
the beginning and the ending I thought were hokey. I thought the chorus was good. I like.
That's not what the chorus is, Zach.
The beginning and the ending are the chorus is that part in the middle. That part.
Yeah, the overall melody.
That's the chorus.
That's the chorus. That's what they're using for.
So the One Dream, One Wish part was the chorus.
No. And I'm going to throw it right back at you and say, you don't know what a chorus is. So, Alex.
Yeah, I don't really like the beginning of it. It feels like it's a part of a different song.
Feels like an Attack on Titan opening a little
Feels
bit.
like part of a better song.
Whoa. Ed with his hot takes. I was actually really curious as to Ed's take on the song too, just because Ed is a big lyrics stickler when it comes to One Piece openings.
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, I should have done an analysis. I didn't really pay attention to them. I've only watched it.
They were good.
Yeah.
The lyrics I thought were the best part of the song because they were really appropriate, right?
Do you know what I think the opening is missing? The first 30 seconds are missing like a narration.
Ooh, yeah.
I was thinking about that just now because I was like, man, it takes a while to get to the actual like One Piece title card, but then I realized no, it takes about 30 seconds normally to reach that. And like, what's the difference? Well, instead of an opening narration, we have like the one dream, one wish, like that bit, which like it's fine. It just feels like it feels like this opening is trying to juggle way too many things. It's like it's got ADD or something. And it's like music wise, I'm in agreement with Ed where it doesn't really have any particular rhythm to it. But I can say that I do like that it's only 2 minutes long as opposed to 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So,
that's super
compromised.
Awesome. Yeah, it's right in the middle of a minute and a half and 2.5.
yeah, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, I sort of
There's
my
that
opinion.
preview bit in the middle.
Yeah, my opinion is sort of where we're in between Zach and Ed's. Although I really do like the chorus. That they reuse it for the next episode.
I still think I'm right about what a chorus is.
Maybe it's
maybe
a bridge. I
bridge
don't
is
know
what
what the I don't know.
Zach, yeah, bridge is what you're thinking of, not
Like that's what I'm talking about though. This song has a weird structure. Like,
Oh yeah,
But
I completely
a bridge
agree.
usually
with that.
goes between a verse and a chorus, doesn't it? That's why it's a bridge.
I guess yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
when
No,
compared
I
to
think I'm
something
right
like,
about the chorus. I'm listening to it now. That's
I think
why
it
I'm
has
like,
2 choruses. I think that's what we're talking about. I think it has 2.
can a song have 2 choruses? Okay, regardless, I mean, Alex is right. It's the structure of this. We're just talking about the music here. We'll get into the visuals in a moment, but the structure of the song is bizarre. I think the beat that I am thinking of, and that Alex is also thinking of, and that Ed is not thinking of, is my favorite part of it. They use the little bit in the next episode preview. That's how you'll know what I'm talking about.
But like the bit before that, I think is kind of boring and weird melodically. Like there's 3 different melodies happening throughout this entire song, and they don't seem like they're all part of the same song. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's one part of it that sounds like it's from like an 80s movie in the middle of it. It's got 80s synths, but it doesn't. But other parts, it seems like it has horns in it. And usually it's one or the other.
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I did like.
I'm sure I'll
so
get used to it. I'm sure I'll pick up on it. But
so
know.
Sam mentioned the part in the middle though that has, if we'll transition into visuals, that has the
wait, what
of the
did
episode.
Shannon? What did you think of the song?
Shannon? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was like a little bit like corny, but it's very high energy, and I love the horns, and it's like really jazzy. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know anything about musical structure, so I can't weigh in on the chorus versus verse versus bridge argument.
Apparently, none of us do.
I liked
it.
No, I think one of us does, but like the other, either one of us or 2 of us know, and the other person doesn't like that.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking about Ed and Zach,
me.
basically. Yeah. I think Ed might be correct, but
it doesn't matter. Because
Visuals
obviously so yeah, let's talk about visuals. No, I did want to talk about that preview thing in the middle. I think it starts like around a little past a minute.
Which
it reminded me of go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say Superpower started doing that during the Reverie, because they were like replacing some of the Whole Cake Island specific scenes with like Reverie stuff, and they just started using footage from that episode or from the given episode.
Yeah. I noticed that
used
for this.
Bakano used to do this. And every of their 13 episodes.
Trigun used to do it too, but actually depending on which DVD set you bought, because when they were cheap DVDs, they just reused the episode one for the entire series. But series used to do that. Yeah, they used to do it more.
I like that. I think that's a good way to fill time in an opening instead of what they've been doing.
I definitely prefer it over them like trying to like make up more scenes to add to the opening itself, to the proper opening specific animation.
I don't know. Some of the opening specific animation looks so good that I can't.
It feels more so compact when they're allowing part of it to be taken up by the preview,
I guess. But when we're also doing like an artistic interpretation of like Hawkins, who I've never found that interesting, they made him look really cool in this opening.
And Law too.
Like
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, they did something really weird, made Hawkins look cool.
It's like when
God.
Baron Corbin has a good match. Wrestling fans out there would know, but
yeah, so let's talk about the first visuals. I guess we could talk about is the very beginning, the prison stuff, and then the Wano Kuni intro special thing with the One Piece title card.
What does that Japanese sign that like that Luffy, Zoro, and Tama like pop out of? What's that say? Do we know?
I think it says Wano Kuni, right? I don't know what the stamp says, but
So the stamp, I think, is I'm looking at it for a hot second. Okay, so well, the like that says literally One Piece in katakana, and then the stamp is the Wano Kuni story arc.
yeah, that's what the subtitles say.
oh,
Yeah.
I see. Oh, so the regular text just says One Piece.
Yes.
Oh,
Weird.
I don't know why I didn't
Not
notice that.
used to just seeing the katakana.
No, me neither. It's weird. But cool. I really, really, really like that. Yeah, is there anything else about that first little section? And then we'll
I mean,
okay.
I mean, I actually love the transition to the main logo, where it's like I said, it's Zoro and Luffy and Tama riding on the what's it called, the dog thing,
Komachio.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
and then like they pop out, and then as they drop, we see that the logo is now in the background.
Yeah, and then the running and posing portion.
Screaming forever. Yeah.
I think this is where it like really kicks off and it becomes really fun. I don't know. This is just like the visuals I think are really fun and they really keep you, I don't know, excited for what's coming. That said, so many spoilers.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
So we get the
The Yas bit. So when I was watching it on Twitter, where it's like super compressed, like it didn't seem that spoilery to me because I couldn't see him like getting shot. But then you look at it in HD and it's like, oh
yeah.
wait, which part getting shot?
Is this? Well,
Yasu,
hold
yeah.
on one
Yasu.
second. Like,
Oh,
is
that's
this
okay.
a
Yeah, you're jumping. We got to do this frame by frame, guys.
Oh boy.
question.
Yeah.
This is mostly a question for Sam. Is this segment like for people who are anime only, or can we talk about manga spoilers?
Oh, I know that there's at least one anime only guy who listens.
Oh, okay. Well,
We'll talk about it later during the piece together.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so we'll skip where they introduce all the characters and introduce one character who is even a spoiler for manga fans.
maybe that's who knows. I hope it's a red herring.
There.
Yeah, it could be. I mean,
I believe it. I believe that's.
I believe it too, only because that. Yeah, there's a reason, and it's because of something from OPP 10 too that we'll be releasing at some point. But there's a reason why I think that that's legit. Anyway, you get Sanji.
That is the spoiler. Like I would have.
Yes.
I hope that they would have kept to themselves at least, or do the thing where there's a less spoilery version of the opening, and then when the scene actually happens, they can swap it out with the spoiler.
Yeah, that was like really shocking to me that they would show Soba Mask, and Orochi, I guess, kind of, but
That's not so to me.
No, yeah, that one
Yeah.
wasn't bad because you don't see the other thing, which I won't
or
say.
maybe Komurasaki
Yeah,
is another big one too. Just because
I mean, I don't understand why she was blacked out for so long in the manga. Anyway, I mean, I get it, but I also like whatever.
Well, I mean, like now, I mean the anime the anime only audience like instantly knows that she's the shamisen lady.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of
probably. We don't even 100% know that. We just think that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like-
never. They've never confirmed that. But I mean, we're using the same deduction that you would use in this opening. Oh, she looks a lot like that. Yeah. The Hawkins stuff was really cool. Talked about that already. Luffy breaks out of prison. He fights Kaido.
I mean,
color schemes for like Hold'em and Speed and
Oh yeah.
like content aside, the animation in this is like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think I said this in one of our chats, but this is easily like the best looking opening since Kokoro no Chizu.
I know
And
you
they-
said
like-
that, but I would say ever. I'm trying to like think back. There's no reason to say this isn't. I think for me.
I think
guess-
Kokoro no
They should-
Chizuo looks really good.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not.
like-
I'm not denying that. But
No, but what I mean is that like the thing that Kokoro no Chizu does that I think other openings don't really do is take like stuff we've seen in the manga, but like show it from different angles and different perspectives and stuff like that, while still keeping the integrity of the art and the style. And that's not something that like, I don't know, if you like compare it to Brand New World, which like happens right afterwards, it's just like, okay, let's just see these scenes, and then they recycle them for the actual anime.
Mhm.
And I don't know. And I know you say best ever, but there's still a like Kokoro no Chizu has this weird polish to it that I think puts it like at the upper echelons, and same with We Are, just because of how weird a lot of the like worm's eye view stuff is, like all the weird camera movements that happen in that. I think that like puts that in a different area, but then again, I'm also biased to that opening, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rewatching Kokoro no Chizu right now because I
Over
feel
the
like I
Top-
need to have. Yeah. Go ahead.
Over the
Sam.
Top dropped the Fishman Island outfits, therefore it is the greatest opening ever made.
He's right. That's I can't
that was
argue with
that was my big pet issue with the openings up until now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty
Except
happy.
that Luffy's briefly in his regular outfit when they preview the episode, but I'm
I mean,
assuming that won't
Luffy's
be
a
the
different
case. in
case.
the future.
Luffy just wears the same clothes a lot because he's a stinky
yeah,
boy.
Yeah, he's a stinky boy. So I agree with you, Alex. Kokoro no Chizu is a beautiful opening, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, I mean, the way it should be working theoretically is each opening should look better than the previous opening. Just generally because technology.
Just in terms of technology.
Yeah. And I mean,
It's a weird assumption.
I guess that is a weird. It's not really an assumption. That's just like a expectation that should exist. I feel like as something moves on, it should improve. But obviously that isn't the case. I mean, you could say that with anything. When you work on something longer, you get better at it. I don't really see why that should.
There's
be
different people, is my point.
That's true too. I will say, so I guess we could transition into the anime here, but Sam, it's a completely new team here, I heard, working on the anime. That's what all the
not
nerds out there on Twitter
necessarily.
are
I know
telling me.
that what's his name? Nagamine, the guy who directed Film Z and the Broly movie. He's now like the overall series director, so he's like in charge of making the whole thing
He's like the
have
third
like
or
a
fourth
baseline
series
level
director,
of
right?
quality. What was that, Ed?
It's like the third or fourth series director, isn't he?
I
Yeah,
think
something
so.
like that. He's. I think we had one starting at Whole Cake Island, and now we've got another one starting now.
Okay.
And yeah, and obviously those movies are really, really good, and are, hopefully they're a signal of how good one is going to continue to be moving forward.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're going to see a lot of the same like specific animators and stuff, but they've got a new they have a new character designer for one.
Yes.
Is a big one.
Yes, that is Midori Matsuda, and I'm trying to look up her CV right now, actually.
And then and obviously they're going through a whole new post processing deal. So it's just like in terms of like what kind of visual effects they use, how they do the line work, all the color choices and stuff like that is gonna.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Midori Matsuda, the new character designer, she was one of the animation directors for Film Gold, which is why these character designs look very, very similar to Oda's designs.
Mm-hmm. So the title card this week begins at 3 minutes and 11 seconds. It opens with the octopus we saw last week, kind of swimming in the water and doing the yo sounds as Luffy is drowning, and you hear the shamisen song is sort of being intercut with Luffy drowning.
Yeah,
and
it
we're
rocks.
putting, the shamisen lady. The song is like very like fast and like up tempo. much more like exciting rather than like kind of sweeping, like I imagined it would be.
SNES Chun-Li stage song.
I was not expecting that to be what it sounded like. So that was pleasant, I think. A pleasant surprise.
Yeah. I was expecting something a little more slower paced, but that was a really cool surprise.
It's like a very one PC take on a shamisen song, I feel like.
Oh, I just wanted to point one other thing out. On an HD TV, at the title card, you can tell that the cloth, like the curtain, you can tell it's made out of fabric. Like there's texture on it, and you can see it on HD TV, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we see the curtain and it opens, and we see Wano. We see the big scenery shot. We have Zoro wandering around in the streets. This was, I think, an anime-only detail where we see his eyes like darting to the side, and he's noticing the crescent moon ankle tattoo on one of the passerbys. We go through kind of what the non-Whole Cake Island Straw Hats have been up to. We have Franosuke the carpenter being kind of complimented on his craftsmanship by a Minatomo-looking guy.
I love the little title card things and how they're interpreted in the you know what I'm talking about, like the Zoro, Franosuke, all those. Yeah, I like how they're done in the anime. They have movement to them.
Yeah. Franosuke is sort of the guy, his boss as a carpenter is kind of a loudmouth, kind of crass dude who sounds like he's insulting him, but he's actually complimenting on him for his craftsmanship. And you can see
for anime only listeners, that character was originated, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, in an SBS about the very first chapter of One Piece.
I think the idea is that he's a relative of that character.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
He's the Officer Jenny of Wano.
Yeah.
We have Usohachi, the toad oil salesman. He's doing his whole shtick where he's both trying to sell a really sharp sword and also sell the toad oil that will heal your cuts if you cut yourself on said sharp sword.
The sword is a red herring. It's all about the toad oil.
We have Orobi, the geisha, who's trying to. She's being instructed by this like stout old woman who's trying to get her to meet with the shogun as soon as possible. And she sounds like really embarrassed when she's like saying like yes ma'am and stuff.
I think she's putting on her facade, like ooh this is who I am. Yeah, she's doing the best acting job probably. Yes, I feel like it's the least like the actual character.
Yeah, like is Usopp really acting at all? This is what he would do normally.
Usopp's just doing his normal shtick, but with a
although
beard.
he is putting on like an old man voice sort of.
He does have a toad on his head. Oh yeah, he is putting on a voice. Yeah, that's true.
I loved his voice. He's so energetic. It's very like extreme Usopp.
I was wondering if anyone else felt this way. Like it feels like the actors are talking slower than usual. Like is that just me?
They're talking differently. You could tell they're putting on. I mean, think about how difficult it must be.
Frankie.
Think about how difficult it must be to be an actor as a character acting as that character, like, but not acting as a different character. I assume that's a very difficult thing to juggle. And everyone but Zoro kind of does that because Zoro doesn't have the capability to do that.
In Usopp's case, I noticed that he's sort of speaking like a Rakugo performer.
I was wondering if that was maybe the influence or the idea behind that.
You can see it, yeah.
Yeah. And then finally we have Zorojuro, the Ronin. He's at a restaurant or at a bar. He's getting drunk on sake. He starts wandering the streets. There's a little scene of a man being attacked by another man. And then Zoro sort of walks past the attacker and he smells blood and he's getting excited like, oh, I know what that's about. But then the police show up and the attacker runs away and the police think that Zoro is the attacker. And he's about to fight back, but then he remembers Kinemon's instructions, and there's a little flashback of Kinemon telling the Straw Hats to blend in and play their parts. So he gets tied up, and he's being led around. We have this, I think it was called the Magistrate in the manga. I don't remember him getting referred to in the anime. but the guy who did it.
They call him that in the anime too. They say magistrate.
Yeah. He has some line to like one of his henchmen, like, swords get stronger by absorbing blood, and I'm like, how have you not been caught yet?
Well, when you're in a place of political power, you could do things without anyone saying anything. Apparently,
I like that whole scene where Zoro's walking through the flower petals. That's a good scene.
Yeah, they do a really good job with the transitions and specifically the flower petals.
Yeah, there's a lot of sakura petals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Usopp we're cutting back to Usopp in the street, and he's like hearing the news about Zoro who's been caught, and you see his like, I guess his wanted poster scribbled in ink, and so Zoro he has to commit seppuku, is the story, and this brings us to the new eye catches, which is really
Before we
exciting.
get there, can I just say I think it's cute how the guy didn't want Usopp to read his newspaper. He made him buy his own.
Yeah. I also really like the
Good touch.
drawing. I love the drawing of Zorojuro in that newspaper. He looks nice and creepy. But yeah, the eye catches are super cool, mostly for the music. Like
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
it's their
so
usual.
cool.
It's the characters' usual theme songs, but now it's in this old timey Japanese.
Japanified.
They look cool. They sound great, and I'm really excited to hear what the rest of the Straw Hats. We get Luffy's and Zoro's.
I want a new album so badly. I want to buy these songs.
I think
That picture of Zoro looks like
I think you're gonna get that, Zach.
Yeah, I know, but I want to wait.
the picture of Zoro looks like Takehiko Inoue drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right,
Vagabond.
you're right. Yeah, it does.
And this scene, the seppuku scene, looks like an outtake from The Tale of Princess Kaguya. If anyone saw that movie back in like 2013, but they do the same sort of watercolor on white background ish thing like they did in the palace in that movie.
It's
Which
like
was interesting.
it's like the quote unquote camera is overexposed a little bit. It was kind of distracting. Be like, oh, turn that down, please. So like the whites are kind of blowing everything out a little bit. So yeah, it's the seppuku scene. The magistrate has Shusui in his hands, and he's like looking at it and admiring it. And now they're also accusing Zoro of grave robbing because the sword belonged to Ryuma, and we get a still shot of Ryuma as Zoro remembers who that was. And there's this whole deal with the seppuku blade not having a handle because it's not meant to be used other than for its one purpose. And Zoro has it. I remember in the manga it was the verily joke that doesn't translate to the subtitles here. It's like do gozaru.
De Gozaru, yeah.
De gozaru.
It's
I like the
I don't know.
verily.
Verily, we roll along.
Yeah.
Um,
And
go
we're
ahead.
cross-cutting this whole sequence. Like Zoro looks like he's about to actually do it. Like he's like, well, if that's what my job is. And this scene is like cross-cut between the shamisen player again, going nuts. I don't think she's actually at the scene. I think it just sort of feels like
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
And she's doing her song. It's building up. The tension is building. We're like, oh, is Zoro going to do it? Is he going to kill himself? Is this the end of One Piece? And then he stops, and he's like, oh, I smell blood on you. And he does his thing where he slashes the magistrate, and it's like a beam that travels from the seppuku blade. And he slashes the guy, and there's a lot of blood, and the guy
I
passes
think that's
out.
supposed to be,
Hold on.
and yeah, is that like hockey? I guess emanating from the seppuku blade, or it's supposed to be.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems that way. But I just also want to say that, like, at one point, it looks like Zoro sort of looks in the camera like Jim Halpert when the guys won't stop attacking. They won't stop attacking him. Like,
Perfect.
these guys.
So yeah, and he's apologizing to Kinemon because he just blew their cover. And we cut to Luffy on the beach. He's finally waking up. He's pulling the crab off of his nose. He's finding the Sunny just sort of tipped over, but his crew
I like
is
the
nowhere.
crab. I like the crab holding onto his nose and his nose stretching. That whole little thing made me laugh. It's just like a
And
little
this
touch,
is
but
like really appreciating the hand drawn backgrounds.
yeah,
Especially the Sunny. I love that they like made the Sunny feel like it was a part of the background like that. It's got kind of a sketchy hatched look. Then we come back to Zoro's scene, and he's in the middle of a big fight, like a really crazy animated fight where he's, using his seppuku blade. He's got a sword in one hand, a tiny blade in the other one, and he's just kicking all these dudes' asses.
and that wasn't in the manga, but is one of the nicest looking scenes in this episode.
Yeah, that was Zoro's whole subplot here was expanded on a lot for the anime. Like him getting caught wasn't in the manga. Him like continuing to fight his way out wasn't in the manga. You didn't really need them. Like they kind of spoke for themselves. But the scenes are cool. This fight scene is really great.
With that music and just it being so well animated, I really liked it.
This is the kind of padding that we want to see, right?
Yes,
like this is like something that expands on what's currently happening or stuff that we don't like. That is sort of implied, like you called it implied filler back in the day, Zach, but that was during the Impel Down bullshit. So this is good implied filler, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, Oda has mentioned that he's gotten in the habit of kind of tightening because he doesn't want to like stay on every scene for too long. He sort of like he lets things kind of happen off screen so that the anime can expand on it. And like this is the kind of thing that I've been hoping that we'd see more consistently.
Yeah, I think this is a you have to credit the director for that. Just because they make all of these kind of decisions. Back when Whole Cake was starting, I was really excited because maybe we'll get to see like Nuts Island and some of the other places that they were supposed to pass along the way to get to their destination, but we didn't see that, and I think that's more of a director decision than anything else.
Yeah, Whole Cake was very touch and go with how much implied filler it did. Like it did it like occasionally there were good scenes, but then there were other parts where I'm like, man, that felt like really obvious opportunity to.
Well, I think some of it is like you need some bravery from the director, like being like, okay, even though this may be contradicted, I'm gonna go in and try this.
Right.
Or it involves some like knowledge about what Oda actually has planned about this or how he would expand a certain scene.
Yeah.
So it's possible that Oda's just a lot more communicative with the animation staff. It seems like that with the opening.
I really hope that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that fight scene continues, and then the last scene of the episode is Luffy back on the beach, and there are some animals coming from the woods. And they're about to attack him, and then to be continued.
He's shocked about it.
General thoughts, guys?
I really liked it. Yeah, I guess I should go first. I really liked it. I love the new art style so much. I think it fits the setting super well in my opinion. It looks, I think Sam, you said it looks like a real anime now. It's like, and it's true. Like I've been watching a lot of other series recently, and I'm like, oh, I wish One Piece looked like this. And it kind of does. I think it still looks like One Piece, but it like also looks like a modern era anime, which it hasn't for so long. Especially everything. Like I'm trying to figure out the last time I was like really enjoying the animation. It used to be so consistent. I felt like One Piece, when I initially marathon through the series, I'm like, for a shonen series that went every week, this is super nice animation every single week. It doesn't have any of the Triangle Man stuff like from Dragon Ball Z. And then something happened, and Triangle Man directed every week for a while, and not literally Triangle Man, but Vertical Man.
The One Piece consistency hasn't been the same since Impel Down, really. And it's 10 years.
Yeah. Since we've been doing the podcast, I think you're right, because I think Shaw Buddy still.
It's not like it's all
really
bad,
nice.
though. It's inconsistent. It's not like you can't rely on it.
Yeah, I think it's been inconsistent since Thriller Bark. If that might be a really, really critical assessment, but I think that's
I remember getting through Sabati at least. But yeah, it's around
I'm not
point.
saying it's consistent. It's going to be consistent because I don't know. But this episode, from beginning to end, looked beautiful, in my opinion. Yeah, that I'm done. That's all. That's my thought. I liked it.
Ed?
Ed, yeah.
Oh, I love the new look of the anime. I think the opening's gonna grow on me, and I like parts of it. I like how well it's animated as well. I'm just not sure how I feel about it as a song yet, if it works. But other than that, I think the new look of the anime is great. Like there's obvious like over animation in parts of this episode. I don't think we're going to get that every week, but I think the new sort of style and maybe the pacing won't get too far off either. But I do worry about that.
The pacing's in such a weird spot now with
I mean,
with
was
where
this like
the manga is right now.
Yeah, this is like what, like half a chapter and half a chapter.
This is about it's about an episode, I would say.
You mean about a chapter?
Or yeah, it's about a chapter's worth.
And yeah, it didn't feel slow at any point to me. This felt like a great pace, in my opinion. Alex. Or Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I loved it. What can I say? This is I stopped watching the anime ages ago because, as Ed pointed out, it's a consistency issue, and the pacing is pretty bad, and they don't use every part of the buffalo. And this was like a soft reboot. It was a fresh breath of air. A breath of air, rather, and I wonder how sustainable it is, because it looks really, really good. But it also makes me wonder, like maybe they're using that that filter they were using on Dragon Ball Super to make it look a little more hand drawn, I guess.
And Stampede is looking like it might look like that too,
which I'm cool with. I think that's a cool style.
I think
it looks really neat, and I think a lot of the there's a lot of ballsiness when it comes to some of the shots and some of these animation techniques that are being used. So I really hope that this is sustainable. I can't wait to see more.
Shannon?
I really liked the color palette. I thought it was really pretty, and like some of the color choices, like looking at the crab Luffy holds, it's like 5 different colors and there's like gradients on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite thing about the new look. The sketchy line art, the kind of like differences in line art width, I thought was really interesting. It reminded me, like, I don't watch a ton of anime now, but I got really into Mob Psycho 100, and the way Bones did the line art on that show is what it reminded me of.
I was just watching that before we started this.
I love Mob Psycho, and that kind of like I said, variant with line art that looks kind of hand drawn on characters. It's very weird to me seeing that on One Piece. But I think I like it, and like Alex said, I hope it's sustainable because I haven't watched the anime since like 2008, since around like the end of Enies Lobby and Thriller Bark. Yeah, I loved it, and then it was just like I can't watch this, and I just watch clips on YouTube, and even then sometimes I get disappointed. And it's like, wow, I might actually catch back up, or not catch back up, but like start watching it week to week, or watch more episodes because this doesn't look disappointing. It looks cool. Even if it's definitely an adjustment because it looks like, like ink, like a brush strokes rather than just line art. And it's kind of like, this isn't One Piece, but it looks good. It's something I could definitely adjust to. So overall, like I said, especially the color choices, I really, really love those. And like I said, the fight with Zoro was awesome. Like the camera movement and the amount of detail in the music. I like that a lot.
As I said, I'm looking forward to that music. Looking forward to more of that.
Yeah.
I want a sword fight in Wano that looks as good as like the last 3 episodes of Dororo looked. I mean, that's asking quite a lot, and it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. That's what I would. That's like my wish for this arc.
Yeah. I love the new art. The thing I really appreciate about the art style is that even when the animation starts to dip again, whenever that is, like even the uglier stuff will look better in this style.
Mm-hmm.
Because like sometimes it's not even that like One Piece used to be consistent and it's not consistent anymore. It's more like the consistency mattered a lot less in the early days when there was more of an earthy, like organic quality to the art style, and that's where I'm kind of hoping this brings back.
I think change is good. I'll put it like that. I don't think it hurts to try and take a risk at this point in the series. In my opinion.
Yeah, I thought the episode was really good. It's going to be interesting because it still felt a little slow to me, but it was slow in like a different way. Like the pauses between sentences felt different. The line deliveries felt different. So like I can feel the way that they're trying to stretch the story out as much as they can, and it's still kind of two mixed results. But I'm really excited to watch this show every week as opposed to what it was before, where it was like this weird, like melting piece of plastic that was going to fall apart in your hands in a second.
What an interesting way to describe it.
That's how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks great. I think things are looking up.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say?
Nope.
I'm gonna keep watching the anime. I mean, I'm here every week anyway, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
The rest of you I worry about.
Let's see how they last. But yeah, thanks you guys for coming on. I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
Yep. Thanks, Sam.
All right.
This is the manga recap for chapter 948, introducing Kawamatsu the Kappa. Before we get started, remember you could read this chapter as soon as it comes out in Japan at shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. It comes with Stephen Paul's excellent professional translating included for free. Did we mention it was for free and worldwide? Anyway, Ed, what's going on the front page here? Seriously.
You get limited cover series number 24, volume 1, Escape Successful. So this is going to be Chiffon, Capone, Vito, Gotti, all the boys.
Yeah, Oda thought he could hide it from us by making them super tiny, but we could zoom in.
I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah.
I didn't expect. This was a group of characters that I was not expecting to be on a cover story. And now I'm wondering if they're going to walk back some depths in Whole Cake Island. Yeah, this cover story.
Yeah, like Pound specifically.
I was thinking of Pound, but Pedro maybe. I hope not, because I think, like, I don't know. I thought that the Pedro, yeah.
So guys, I want to make one
Pedro comes back. It'll be like a Mr. 2 thing where it's like a lot late. It's like quite a bit later that we find out.
Yeah, that's possible. Now I don't want to get
like the weight of his sacrifice. I thought it was very like it felt final to me, especially the way they were talking about it after the fact. I mean, you of all people would know. I know you're a big fan of the whole Pedro, post death stuff at the end of Whole Cake.
Yep.
I want to make one person here too excited, but bringing Caesar back is now a possibility. We could have Gangster Castino in his new role here.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
true.
Technically, what was the last? Was this where we saw him last? Was he with?
No. He
split away. I think we assumed that he was on one of the tart ships or something.
Yeah. That was our assumption.
Not Capone's.
Well, I mean, the fact that Capone took a tart ship might. Look, it is super possible, and it was set up, and it would be a awesome, ridiculous payoff there if it ends up that Gangster Castino actually becomes a
that's just his
character.
witness protection.
Yeah, he's in witness protection. Here he goes for the rest of the time. Your name is Gangster Castino.
To get away from the mob.
That's true. You don't enter the mob to get into witness protection. Very good point, Sam. Any other thoughts on this first of hopefully many? No. Okay, then.
Actually, you know what?
Forward to
Sam,
if we could connect this to Lola eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of possibility. Now, let's not get our hopes up too much. It is a cover story. Like,
True.
we don't know. Like, but on the other hand, lots of really good potential. So that is good. Let's get started with the chapter. Ed.
All right, back in Udon, the excavation labor camp where we left off. Capture Straw Hat Luffy, and Luffy is fighting, but he's imagine the hockey flowing through my body and smacking like backhanding this guy, and he's like, not quite. He still manages to hurl them all over the place, but he's like, wrong. But so many sparring partners I have. I know I'll figure it out. There's just going to be a pile of corpses afterwards. But Hyogoro looks on and says, nothing gets that Straw Hat fellow down. So this is Kiku. And I'm not going to mess that up 2 weeks in a row. Says,
it's Robin.
what should we do, Chopper? Chopper says, we need to go rescue Olin, which is weird. He's like, no, we don't. That's a relief to me that she is gone. It's more important that she. More important is helping Luffy Taro.
It does make sense that Kiku thinks that, because she was
it's
with
true.
them the whole time.
She
right. Seemed nice. I mean,
yeah, she seems so nice.
Yeah. Oh. So Babanuki is now the chief warden. The other people there are asking him, Chief Warden, should we pack the prisoners into their cells before they get any funny ideas? He says that won't be necessary.
For the record, these schmucks here, just these regular guys, way smarter than Babanuki. Just like,
yeah.
Babanuki is.
I
the
thought
Michael
elephants
Scott.
they're supposed to be smart.
Babanuki is the Michael Scott of Udon, in which he got promoted far too high for his. What is that called again? The
Peter Principle.
Yeah, the Peter Principle.
But no, elephants aren't supposed to be smart. They're supposed to be unforgetful. Or maybe they are supposed to be smart. I don't know. Because they're also supposed to be afraid of mice
smart.
too.
They're very smart.
So
no, I think that's
I
don't think that's a real thing. Shannon.
Babanuki says, prisoners, your friend Luffy Taro is leading a violent rampage. You must subdue him. And people are very alarmed and confused. And then Luffy's like, huh? What are you talking about? And then a bunch of prisoners grab him. And he says, stop it. I'm on your side. Don't you want to get out of here? Let go of me. And then they're like whispering to him. And they're like, sure, we hate Kaido's followers. And I'll admit, it felt great to see you fighting back. What difference will escaping make? Kaido and Orochi will all of Wano. As they're just stretching his face, which is a gag that I always like. Like his eye hole is stretching. It looks weird. Then a prisoner says, 20 years ago, we fought to avenge the death of Kozuki Oden, daimyo of Kuri. But Kaido the pirate crushed us. And then Babanuki has a really weird laugh. It's a pa-woo, pa-pa-pa-pa, I guess.
It's elephant noises.
We lost our families and comrades. We were beaten into submission. And when we saw Lord Yasue's execution, all of the old terror and despair flooded back. And Luffy's like, And then leaving this place will not give us our homes back, our food to fill our bellies. There is no freedom to be found anywhere in this country anymore. You're an outsider from across the sea, aren't you? You can run and fight all you like, but that's your choice to make. Don't drag us into your decision. And I guess are they just yelling at him now instead of whispering?
It's so yelling. Also, important to note that all of Luffy's reaction faces are being stretched and contorted.
He's just taking it.
I like this. I love this bottom panel of Luffy.
Oh yeah. No, the middle one right there is my favorite. Definitely. That looks like it's from a different series.
No, he looks like one of the. He looks like Mashira, from Shoujo and Mashira.
Yeah. I like the bottom one because you can see the guy's like finger and thumb like pushing into Luffy's forehead.
Yeah, pinching
like Luffy
his forehead.
looks concerned while they're all stretching his face out.
By the way they're subduing him seems to be by just pinching him.
Yeah. It's actually the funny thing is, though, if you think about it, it's actually a really nice character moment because it's like, Luffy is literally, he's beating the crap out of these guards, and then these other guys, they just grab his arm or, they're pinching his face or whatever. And like Luffy can easily just throw them off of himself, but he's like letting them do this because, he's like, okay, well, there's probably some reason, like he innately understands that these guys aren't bad guys and they must have some reason. That's why he's hearing them out rather than just like, using his strength to overpower them, which I kind of like. But on the next page, Suddenly off screen, something has been happening as they explain. What Daifugo's shooting at us, and you can see his silhouette in the background with the smoking gun. My body is burning. It feels so hot. Help! And one of these prisoners has what looks like a nasty gunshot on his neck, and he's got a terrible fever.
It's shaped like a skull, right? The gunshot, a little bit.
It kind of is, yeah. And Daifugo, because he's got so many legs, he needs an entire horizontal panel here to fit in. He's laughing. He says, "Ha ha ha! Watch out! That's a kind of plague communicable by contact. If you touch him, you'll catch it too." And the guys who were holding the unfortunate shot prisoner are now like sort of smoking themselves. It's like, it's almost like they've got like acid contact or something like that. Oh no, it's too late. Stay away from him. They're playgrounds. And this is actually in Japanese, they call them excite rounds or excite bullets, which if you recall when Queen was kind of doing his whole like, oh, it's so exciting that was a Japanese pun on the word for plague, which sounds a lot like the word for excite. They didn't really work as well in a joke here, so instead you get a free different pun where they're going on playgrounds. Daifugo.
Wow, I didn't notice that. Damn it.
That's
Wow.
a really
Daifugo
good pun.
Playgrounds. Yeah, you really. Yeah, you have to read the chapter out loud, kind of, to get that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So Daifugo is, mocking them. That one is an example. So, anyone who tries any funny business, this is what you get. And then he continues explaining that Master Queen loves building and crafting things. He makes all these weaponized mechanisms and viruses and whatnot, which, I don't know, I guess,
Is there any indication of that before?
Right. I'm like, well, he is the plague. We know that. He
We've
needs
seen him
some kind
tinkering with like mechanical stuff before. Like when we first saw him in King, he's like at a table and he's like putting stuff together.
Oh,
right.
okay.
But it does
Got a little
seem like
mechanical arm too.
Yeah, it does seem like it's kind of coming a bit out of nowhere. At least as far as like his his
I think
personal
so.
like his actions, the way
I
that
guess he was
presents-
taking the sumo seriously, like previously, as a sport, than not trying to kill people.
Yeah. So Daifugo continues ordering the prisoners to hold down Straw Hat, and he mocks Luffy. Did you think those prisoners would fight with you? Their will to resist was broken long, long ago. And Luffy finally has like a proper reaction to this, all of this stuff with the prisoners, and he says, if only I could say everything, they'd change their minds. And the little guy here has a little question mark bubble because, of course, Luffy is like not allowed to tell them about the plan, which the prisoners don't know about, but which everyone kind of in the Flower Capital does. And he says, "Don't even try shooting me with that. You'll never hit me." And Daifugo says, "I don't need to hit you. I just need to hit someone, and the plague will do the work from there." And at that moment, a voice calls out from the never open cell that says, "Ka pa 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 pa." That's right. You tell them, Straw Hat Boy. Tell them there's hope. Tell them they've got one last chance. And Luffy's like, "Oh yeah, right. There's someone over there."
Everyone watch everyone watch the beeholes.
Sam.
It's a Kappa.
And Chopper's just like, did somebody say Kappa? And Okiku is looking at the cell like, is that laugh? I know that laugh. And somebody's talking to Babanuki. Chief Warden, is that a voice coming from the never opening cell? I thought it was just a wild animal in there. Who's been inside that cell for years and years? And then Babanuki explains that Shogun Orochi said to feed him fish swimming in the factory's polluted water until he dies in agony. It was meant to be a slow execution, and that was 13 years ago. Just go kill him now. We can say he died in an accident. The man inside there is one of the Akazaya 9. And then you can hear the Kawamatsu going, "Kappa, Undo these cuffs. And people are shouting, what? I thought they were all dead.
See, Babanuki remembers all of this stuff because he's an elephant. They don't.
He's also scared of mouse, man.
Okiku saying, then it's true, that's Kawamatsu. And the guards are they're going to have some fun killing this guy. They're like, good, the cuffs are still on. His head will be mine. It's a chance for a promotion. No, the glory belongs to me. They're all kind of fighting for the chance to be the one who kills him. Kiku's running, Kawamatsu, and Chopper's like calling after. There, I see something filthy. We have the very familiar silhouette of Kawamatsu that we've been seeing throughout this arc. So you're the weirdo who loves poisoned fish. And that's a legendary samurai? Time to die, legend. And there's a glint, and Kawamatsu seems to have little picks in his mouth of some kind. Like ninja needles. And he's jumping away. The intruder got away. That's the ninja from yesterday. Get him. Nin.
And suddenly, a guard seems to be a theme in this chapter. A guard has a nasty wound on his neck, but this time it is not a bullet. It is from a needle. No, it's a fish bone. Gross. So Kawamatsu has spit the fish bone again, and from we see Raizo literally swooping in from off panel, swooshing in from off panel, and he hurls the.
Oh, is he on the kite?
Yeah, he's on his kite. Yes. Yeah, you can see it in the. That's on the last panel of the previous page.
Yeah.
And he hurls the key to the cuffs and Kawamatsu's katana through the broken gate there. And it looks kind of weird because everything is in shadow here, but it basically like embeds itself into the wall behind Kawamatsu, I guess.
Yeah. Right next to Kawamatsu,
which you can kind of only tell from the sound effects. But the guards are all taken aback by this sudden weapon appearing, and we see a webbed hand pick up the key and say, "Just in time, Raizo. My old trusty blade, Sotomuso."
This is a great image.
Yeah, the really cool with the katana in the foreground, and I like that it also doesn't have like a guard, like a catch on it. It's just one like straight length. And Sotomuso is, as we will see throughout this chapter, this is the first of many sumo references. It's a type of throw. I think it's something where, like, if you stick your leg in between the leg of your opponent and then you kind of throw him over your legs or something like that. It's kind of one of those moves. And then he says, "Tell me, do you like sumo wrestling?" And the guards they're like, "Huh?" I like the guy on the left. He looks like one of the guys from Fat Albert with like the the droopy eyes and the beanie on, just because of the way it's Mushmouth. Yeah.
No, not Mushmouth. Fuck. I used to know the names of all of them. But you know what? It doesn't matter because Bill Cosby created that. So it's okay to forget.
Let it die.
Downer. So then we see the aftermath of this in a wide shot from behind Babanuki, as all of those guards go flying out of the prison cell, as Kawamatsu says, "Yagura Ryuo," which Ryuo, of course, is the Wano word for hockey, and Yagura is another sumo-related term. It's both the name of like one of the, I think it's like the tower positions where they put some of the drums. And it is also that is also then the name of another type of throw. And Babanuki is like, "Whoa, what happened to them? They're flying back this way. What?" And Raizo is, I guess, kind of speaking for Kawamatsu here, where he says, "If your feet come off the ground, you'll lose. It seems that Kawamatsu has not lost a step after all this time. And that's kind of sumo related common sense knowledge is that if you let your center of weight drift upward or not be centered deep in your legs, then you're bound to get toppled over.
It explains why he was so into the sumo inferno too, that had been happening, that he's been a spectator for this entire time. Yeah.
Right. And Kiku sees this happening. So I guess somehow she sees the technique because she's like, that technique. Oh, even though all you can see is just bodies flying. But she is relieved that Kawamatsu seems to be perfectly fine. And then we get his eyes in the darkness and the blade of the katana glinting in the light. And he says, like swimming against the rapids of the great river, they call this Kappa style, as we see from his perspective, looking out of the cage. That's great.
Oppa Kappa style. Like, look at the pose he does in the next page. Like, you could totally do that.
Oh my God! Put some sunglasses on him. Yeah, that's gonna be the episode title, isn't it?
Someone, I don't know. We don't have an artist on this week.
Oh,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I could draw something, I guess, and then scan it in with my phone or something.
But that's not important to discuss right now. Yeah, what happens next?
Point being, he uses his Kappa style to dispatch all of these dudes. Really awesome action panel of Kawamatsu, still obscured by his hat, by his gasa, with his a sword in the foreground. He holds it like a boss. The other way, I don't know, sword terminology too well.
Like underhanded, basically.
Yeah, I've always loved that.
It's the sword equivalent of holding a gun sideways.
So did we practice that in Japan? That kind of holding? I think
we did for the posed picture. I think at least a couple of us did.
Yeah.
I did.
That's right. Yeah. It's normally used for like blocking. I think, right? Like
to look at the picture again, but I think I had to hold it for the posed picture that we did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is a attack called River of Retribution. I don't know what the kanji says there, Stephen. If that says a sumo meaning as well.
No, actually, the name in Japanese was kind of a funky one. The river part is true. The like retribution was kind of a bit of a translation, sort of a vibe of the kanji. It was originally called Minamugawa, and it was sort of using some like sort of Buddhist style concepts, and so I just sort of like, okay, retribution is like kind of a neat and punchy way with the alliteration to sort of represent that in English.
And the river, the Kappa thing, that makes sense.
Right? Yeah.
That's pretty excellent. I love this shot. And as all of these schmucks end with an oof and a thud, he lands perfectly A-OK. And he mentions, I heard that poisonous fish was a delicacy, but it was so disgusting, my innards screamed for mercy. And with a bang, we have our first full body shot of Kawamatsu. Yet I persevered for 13 long years. Compared to the suffering of my lord, this was but a pleasant breeze. How I have awaited this moment. And as if a new Smash Brothers character has just been revealed, Kawamatsu the Kappa joins the battle. And we have our little Wano Oda box for him.
Well, he's the one who's saying that. He's referring to himself in the third person.
Yeah.
That's
I played a lot of Smash, so
I had fun with that one. I'll say that.
I love that.
He had a lot of free time.
So he is Yokozuna Kawamatsu. So this is made believe before what's his face Urashima. This guy.
Before human Jinbei, there was Kappa Jinbei.
Yeah. So let's talk about his design because it's fucking great.
Yeah.
He still has his. He's right here he looks like a little kid, but he's also humongous when we see him later on. So he has a squat design. He still maintains the squat silhouette that we've seen.
Same size as Raizo.
Before. Yes, he's got a little beaky mouth, which I love. His webbed fingers make it seem to me that he is we've talked about this before, not a real Kappa, but perhaps a fishman. Or I'm thinking like just because people had been positing this, maybe half fishman, half mink, which I think would be really cool to see. But who's to say? He's got super like a big cascading long flowing hair, and he's got a pretty sweet kimono on as well. I don't know, just I love how squat he is. He reminds me of like a Toriyama character more than a One Piece character, because we don't see guys with these types of designs. Like, he doesn't have a nose; it's just a beak.
Yeah, it's a cool design. I do love that outfit too. It looks like I guess is that what the sumo wrestlers wear, that rope kind of thing, which I guess Frankie was wearing this week in the anime too. I do you know what I'm referring to though, Ed?
I mean, normally no, they don't wear it, but I think I can probably find what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know
what
the hell it's called.
Champion's rope sort of thing, like a wrestling belt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but yeah, okay. I'm going next. So we go to the next page, and that is not Babanuki, I don't think, but it's someone who looks a lot like him. He does look a lot like him. Saying, "Oh no, there's an Akazaya samurai here," and Kiku's so happy. She's like, "Kawamatsu," and here we have Kawamatsu going up with what looks like a kind of cutesy looking face here. Kiku, you haven't changed a bit. And neither of you, Raizo, which makes sense since they literally came back from 20 years ago, as we recall. And I believe this is Raizo saying, "I'm glad to see you alive, my friend." And Kiku, when did you get here? Which makes sense. And yeah, Kawamatsu, having 13 years worth of bad fish, is coming back to haunt him here. Actually, not really haunt him, but haunt the prison guards standing right next to him, because he hurgles all over them in a Pukalicious panel here. Pukahontas. And they're just splorshed all over with puke here. And he apologizes for 13 years of nausea coming back here. And Babanuki calmly responding while his elephant self chomps on a banana. And I am going to say, as someone with experience with elephants, they freaking love bananas. Anyway.
Look at the crazy eyes. He's got crazy eyes when he's eating that.
No, he's just really into that banana. That's what's going on. Elephants love bananas. I can't emphasize that enough. Anyway, he says to prep the playgrounds. Oh my god, I still did that pun. Anyway, he tells them to prep the playgrounds and prepare for battle. And
prepare the slide, prepare the swings, prepare the whirly thingy.
Oh, the slip and slide.
Prepare the slip and slide.
Just Queen and Babanuki riding like the merry-go-round.
Yeah. And meanwhile, while simultaneously saying that, says, "Who are these three and how did they get here? Who are you and what are you doing here?"
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Luffy, still being randomly assaulted by prisoners, is like, Kappa? And Kiku.
No, he's more excited than that. He's like, a Kappa? Wow.
I don't know if it's really hard to tell because he is being chokeholded there.
He's got exclamation marks.
I don't think it's excited as much as shocked, or surprised, or I don't know. Luffy has different emotions than most people. They're like differently expressed. Anyway, so Kiku points her sword at the prisoner, saying, "Get away from Luffy, Taro." Meanwhile, someone from the first volume of One Piece shows up and says, "Who is that? A giant woman?" Seriously, this guy does not look like it looks like Oda drew him a long time ago and placed him here. Guy in the back too.
Well, he's been imprisoned since volume 1.
Yeah.
He's the One Piece lifer.
To be fair, yes. Okay. Anyway, Hio comes in now with a badass cloak and a badass sword. Where did he get these? Saying that's a legitimate question, right? Saying Kiku, Raizo, and they recognize him right away as Hyogoro. And Luffy recognizes him as Gramps, and Raizo just has a giant question mark. Show them all who you are. And so I like this gag a lot in that it's Hio says, if you want to inspire and lead those whose spirits are broken or who fought once before and were laid low, then you must remove your disguises and show them who you are. So Raizo, of course, removes his disguise, which is his cloak. Meanwhile, Kiku turns Kiku, I said that right, turns her face into a creepy demon mask.
She puts on a mask, Zach. She's putting a mask on.
Yeah, that's a Hanya mask, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's not just her face. That is her face.
No, she's putting a mask.
What is wrong with you, Zach?
Come on.
No.
Don't let Hannibal confuse you. That's not normal. They're imitating him.
No. But if you go to the next page, she is clearly speaking with that mask on, and it's moving with her.
What? No.
It's a cool mask. Yeah.
I don't think the mask is moving.
No, it is in the bottom right panel there when she's speaking.
And bottom left and bottom right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
We could discuss this after.
Still a mask. Go ahead. It's still a mask.
Shannon, finish this off.
Okay. Then is it Hyogoro talking at first, or is it Kiku saying?
That's Hyogoro.
Yeah.
Okay, Hyogoro says the first step to gain their trust, and then Raizo says we are not mere ghosts and memories, and then Luffy says a Kappa. He's still hung up on it. I thought that was really funny. This is like an amazing spread. This is like my favorite spread in Wano, and he's like, it's a Kappa. That's what he's fixated on, and all the prisoners are surprised. I guess one of the prisoners is like, that mask. But I thought he died at Odin Castle. Isn't that the mask of the most handsome swordsman of Wano? Kiku Nojo of the Fallen Snow?
Yeah.
And then Luffy and Chopper are like, what? You're a man? And then Kiku says, this one is a woman at heart. And then they're creeped out by the mask, which I thought was really cute. They move on instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
scary.
But they say on the previous page also to show them who you are.
Yeah, I think that's some pretty good like textual irony, which is that they're quote unquote in disguise with these stupid bandanas under the nose thing, but then it is kind of funny that she apparently is known for wearing this mask, so she literally puts on the mask to show them who she is.
Well,
because they wouldn't know her otherwise.
If the people of Wano knew her as a man from back in the day, then like the mask would probably like all she has left to like for people to recognize.
That's possible. Yeah.
Anyway, this is not the first time that Oda has designed an androgynous samurai character. If you want to turn our books back to actually, let's finish the chapter before I get into the last time.
Yeah.
And then about Raizo, they say, and that's Fukurokuju's rival ninja, Raizo of the Mist. The samurai and most powerful of sumo wrestlers, Yokozuna Kawamatsu. And the old man with them really is who we thought. It's Hyogoro the Flower. So who is Luffy Taro then? And then it's like, bing. And then like Chopper's ready for them to ask about him and they completely ignore him. And he gets upset. And then I guess Babanuki's like, this makes it sound like Orochi's ramblings were true. We've got to report this to Kaido somehow. And then Kiku's like, nope. Now that you've seen us, we demand your silence. And she looks very intimidating in the spooky mask.
Yeah. Wow, that was that's a great ending. Really good chapter.
So good.
I didn't realize Chopper's also in that really cool spread there, facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
No one told
no wonder no one cares.
I didn't notice it till now either. That's really funny.
Thoughts on the chapter, Ed? It seems like you're chomping at the bit to talk a little bit about it.
Anyway, so we all know that, I mean, a lot of people won't admit it these days, but a lot of people read Rurouni Kenshin back in the day, and everyone knows, I think, that Oda was an assistant on Kenshin back in the day. And one of the characters he was credited with developing was Honjo Kamatari.
Right!
The androgynous. So this is a much better introduction than she got. where she immediately drops trow and shows her dick off to who she's fighting. So
Yeah, I don't remember much about
yeah,
that.
it's not great. So I have to credit that to the awful author, and
Yeah.
not to Oda, who designed the character. But yeah, so it's interesting that the things that carry over, and Oda gets to maybe do it right this time with the androgynous samurai character. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Oh, and also that character is known as the Great Scythe, Ogama, and you know what that sounds like.
Ah.
So this is a theme Oda's had for a long time.
I thought that you were going to refer to Izo of Whitebeard's crew.
Oh, that as well. Yeah.
Ed, do you want to talk about your thoughts on the chapter since you're?
Sure. We're getting to the area of like having more 2-page spreads, and where Oda's he's going all out with art in certain places, like I just with the Kawamatsu and also with the final page. It just I really like what he's doing here. For a weekly comic, we ragged on him last week for missing the mustache in a lot of places, but this week turned out really, really good. There's a lot of great little moments, the Kappa moment, and like Chopper, like Oda always knows how to lighten it up, even when things are getting a little. I mean, honestly, it could stand to be a little more serious, but I do like that he keeps the lightheartedness of it in there. And Kawamatsu, he looks like a real badass, so I'm excited for that. Babanuki shouldn't be left in charge of anything. I think, as we said, he's horrible. But I love the idea here of the only way we're going to get these people on our side is if they know that we're really fighting for them. And I think the people of Wano aren't really ready to accept that Luffy is fighting for them. It really seems to have we kind of have to do this. Like the last thing they ask is, who is this Luffy? Like a lot of other countries sort of put their hope in Luffy more naturally. I think the people of Wano are more skeptical, and I think that they need to be shown. They need to have like this buy-in from all the people that they trust from the former regime, like, because otherwise, who's Luffy? Luffy's just a guy who's fighting, and he's going to fight and tear up the place and
then leave.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to sort of be committed to the actual, which in that respect, Wano sort of takes itself more. They're more self-important. They take themselves more seriously maybe than other countries have been depicted as in One Piece to this point, where maybe Luffy and Co. were mostly working in secret against the enemy, but yeah, there's like the people of Dressrosa were very, and the people of Fishman Island also were very readily accepting of Luffy. The people of Wano seem like they need to be reassured more. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to in 2 weeks, so no chapter next week, as they say.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we're doing next week in a moment. Shannon,
I really like this chapter. The Kawamatsu reveal didn't disappoint at all, and I really liked the sort of like mini running gag of Luffy just being shocked that it's a Kappa and being excited, and Chopper being excited. And I really liked the Kiku reveal. And I'm kind of hoping that this character, which I just sort of interpreted as just like a trans woman, or like, I don't know, like whatever Wano's equivalent of that is. I hope there aren't too many jokes with Sanji with her or that kind of thing. And I'm interested to see how Oda handles that going forward, because I'm really happy with it so far. Just that she's like a really pretty tall woman and a powerful samurai and stuff. And I think the mask is really cool and really creepy. And like I said, I love the final spread. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that are going to, I feel like be displayed and, bandied about as like one of the big 2-page spreads of the series. Steven.
I think it's overall it's a pretty great chapter. I do kind of appreciate what Ed was saying about the the way that Oda is taking more care to, I think, kind of define the local perspective of all of this. In part, especially I think because it's not just Luffy and the Straw Hats coming in to save the country. It's Luffy and the Straw Hats coming in to team up with the Akazaya 9, the great samurai, to take down. So there's that, like, just from the very outset, the concept of the arc, there's way more like local involvement in helping overturn their bad situation than literally just like, here come our heroes to help them out. And there's upsides and downsides to doing it that way. But I think it was well, he crafted that well in the dialogue of this chapter. I guess I'm going to be the only one, and this is only going to be for just this week in the initial reveal, but I was a little let down by the Kawamatsu design. I think part of it is because it's just hard, even when he is revealed, it's kind of hard to get a real solid picture of what he looks like. Because like depending on the angle and like how much detail Oda's drawing with him, if it's a big panel or a small panel, like his look kind of changes from page to page.
The shadow under his hat.
Right, yeah, stuff like that. It is a little tricky to kind of get a grasp, especially since we still have this question of like, okay, is he really a Kappa? Is he some kind of fishman or fishman hybrid or something even altogether different? But that's literally just because it took so long for him to finally get unveiled that I was half expecting like something really out of left field, or kind of like a gag, like a thing where he's just a guy who looks like a Kappa or something like that. But I'm sure like once he gets more scenes, I'll get used to it. It'll be totally normal. But like his characterization does seem pretty cool. And lastly, I know we definitely talked about this on multiple occasions, that there were lots of pretty blatant hints that Okiku was I guess not biologically female or whatever. Oda had taken
Didn't they call her Kiku Nojo at some point?
Yeah, they called her Kiku Nojo earlier. I talked about it then. There were other things like a Kinemon like being creeped out when she, or like being like, just get off me. Why are you hugging me? When she hugged him when they met again, after he had been shown to be like a real perv with all the ladies. The fact this is actually a case where I ended up kind of inadvertently helping sell the surprise a little more in English, because the Akazaya 9 is in Japanese is literally like the 9 Akazaya or red scabbard men, and it was just like it was like too many. I liked Akazaya 9 as a snappier thing, so like she's literally been part of the 9 Akazaya men all along. So there's lots of hints and things. It hasn't really been subtly hidden, and it felt a little weird that it took this long for Oda to finally address it. But on the plus side, I like that it was like really nonchalantly done. Like it didn't have to be like this big, like, oh my God, oh, that's so crazy, I'm so freaked out, how can this be? Because you don't want to like,
also, how can you do that in a manga where you've already had like Ivankov and Kamabaka Queendom? Like, if anything, it kind of has to be understated.
Yeah, that's part of it. And I like Shannon said, I really hope that Oda doesn't do any like kind of gross jokes or gags with Sanji. I don't necessarily want to assume that's going to happen before we get to any interactions like that, but I do like that he doesn't have to be like a huge like anguish, or like gawking at the weirdo sort of thing that like Ed was talking about with the Rurouni Kenshin stuff. So
how are you gonna gawk at that when there's a Kappa? So
yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I felt about this chapter.
Alex.
Yeah, I loved it. Love Kawamatsu's design. I don't know. I was ready for whatever it was going to be. I was expecting something a little more funky, but we've seen his silhouette like so many times that I sort of expected, that particular design. I do truly wonder what he is, though. That's such a like, man, my mind is like swirling with possibilities, just because, yeah, I mean, Fishman, that's the like almost the obvious thing because of the webbed hands, but I think it'd be neat if he was like a Fishman mink hybrid or something like that, or like half turtle man, half fishman or something like that, because that would be kind of the logical explanation as to what a kappa is if you get down to the mathematics of it or the arithmetic of it. I love, Ed, what you said about the prisoners needing to have some sort of stock in like who they're believing in, and this guy Luffy is an outsider. Like, how is he supposed to know?
Hyoguro said specifically that like these guys have been they were defeated once, like they believed in this once before, and let's see where that got them. It's been years.
Yeah. The Kiku stuff I think is really awesome too. My only like trepidation is Sanji, and it sucks because yeah, like I love Sanji.
It almost just seems too obvious.
That's the thing. Like I'm just worried that there's going to be some sort of gay panic joke. Like even if it's like a one panel thing, it's still just like, I don't know. It'll just leave a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. I kind of like, I keep thinking like, oh, maybe he'll just be like, oh, well, it's great that you're so strong, but that's not what he's going to say.
It's crazy because he was accepting of putting third eye. He didn't act like that was weird. But you're just like waiting for something like this for him to.
I mean, this is also a chance for kind of Oda to rectify a lot of that.
True.
It is.
Do we want the realist or the optimist here?
I mean, I'd like to think that that maybe it won't be so bad, but regardless of those two characters interacting, I think that Kiku is going to shoot to a lot of people's fan favorites. So that mask is really cool. And she got the last line of the chapter, which was really cool and really chilling, I thought. I can't wait to see her in action next chapter along with Kawamatsu. Like next chapter like is just going to be like, all right, let's see what all of these guys can do.
Potentially.
Potentially, yes. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. Yeah. And with Kiku, of course, the writing was on the wall. We did talk about this like before, and her interesting speech pattern, which and I think somebody
or whatever it is.
Yeah, the this one, referring to herself as this one, which I thought was we all were very intrigued about that.
Well, I mean, if you again reading Kenshin refers to himself that way.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm remembering that right.
I think so. That sounds
That's
right.
true.
It's the like default samurai, like, oh, this character is a samurai type of thing, and that's why it was like, oh, that's weird. Why does she talk like that? And she's like, just what is a samurai?
Yeah,
she was also the first, I think, samurai on Wano that we met beyond the main cast that we already know.
She's the only samurai who uses this one so far, isn't she?
Right.
Yeah. That is,
but that's what I meant more like, since she was the first, she gets extra samurai stuff. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Like, and that there's somebody who's so strong and so very much willing to just say out loud, yes, well, this one has the heart of woman. Like, that's such a, I don't know, like to be very like out and
this is not a big deal for anyone.
Not at all. Like, these are just facts, and let's kick some ass. Like, I think that's I don't know, that's such a great thing. So let's cross our fingers. But I regardless, I think she'll be able to show us some cool shit. So
yeah, I mean, I'll just wrap up echoing everyone's thoughts. I
haven't said anything yet.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah, Sam hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, go Sam, please.
Yeah, I enjoyed the chapter a lot. I think that final spread is like it just like pops right off the page. It's really, really great. Kawamatsu, I guess I'm just like really ready to accept that a Kappa man is just a thing. Like it didn't even occur to me that
Why not?
I have to figure out like what species he is from between like fishmen and all that stuff. But I think his entrance is a lot of fun. Like his design, like it like if you were to ask me like, oh, is that worth like all the build up? Like it just seems like kind of another design to me. But like I wasn't like getting swept away by the build up to begin with. So it's just like, oh,
I
cool,
want to know if
a
he
new
has
character.
I want to know if he has a shell on his back, or if he's got like a harder,
Mm.
like unarmored back. Like I don't know, maybe there's a fish that he's based off of that has hard scales or something.
I was wondering, like, if his hat comes off, does he have like the Kappa thing on his head?
With,
Like maybe his design is more
yeah.
interesting when his hat comes off, which is very obscured now.
True.
I mean, and also if anyone watched Sarah's Admai, then maybe he'll also go after the butt. That's what I'm saying.
Just give him a cucumber, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I echo a lot of what everyone else has been saying. Yeah, I really like that the Kiku reveal is just so nonchalant. The thing, like, it's true that Oda has always had, like, he's always kind of leaned towards that, like, just like gender stuff as like a character trait between the Mr. Two and Ivankov and his Rurouni Kenshin character, and like it's clearly like a fascinating and like problematic bumps aside, like there's always been like issues with some of those characters, but like problematic stuff aside, like his approach to those characters has always been like so like uniquely positive. Like Luffy does not care, and it's cool that he doesn't care, and like characters like Mr. Two and Ivankov are considered to be like cool and strong because they just kind of live their life how they want and they don't care what other people think of them. So like I think that's where the series like actual heart and belief is when it comes to that stuff. It's just the question of like is there going to be some Sanji dumb shit tacked on top of that is sort of the question. And like
But to be fair, Sanji is sometimes dumb. So if he does something dumb, it's not completely out of character.
Yeah, I mean, like that's also the other thing about Sanji is like I think Oda has a line for where he thinks Sanji stops being likable or sympathetic, and people could definitely argue that the line should be somewhere else. But usually, if he says something like really gross, immediately someone punches him, or he's saying it to somebody who doesn't care, and he's ultimately like benign and has no impact on anything. But yeah, I don't know. Like I could not put it past. I would not put it past Oda to make a dumb Sanji joke. But as I said, like that just seems so obvious. Like I don't know why. I just hope he has any reaction other than the one that we fear.
That's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah. Sam, do you have anything else? Yeah.
That should do it.
Okay, Steven.
Actually, yeah, I had one other thing I wanted to say, and Zach, you can tell me if you agree with this, because it was actually kind of timely because we were just talking about this. I'll try to avoid spoilers since we were discussing this in our first episode of Crewing Around. That this the scene here at the end with all these characters coming together, like specifically as characters of the past, kind of reminds me a little bit of certain elements of 20th Century Boys, which has, it has a cast that goes, you see them through various, parts of time and various ages, including like, some where they're pretty old but they're like legendary figures, and like they're kind of they're not in their glory days, but like seeing them all together and having these people react to them like, oh my God, that's like Yokozuna Kawamatsu. And that's like Hyogoro the Flower. And they're in these really, old or otherwise kind of damaged condition, but still being like badasses. And, obviously we know Oda's attitudes on like whether it's cool if like older characters or like weakened characters or something can be really cool. Like obviously he is all for that. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I agree. That is probably one of my favorite panels specifically of this arc. I mean, I would definitely rank it up there. I'd have to go back to figure out what my others are. I also just realized I think Luffy saying a Kappa at the very end is him being wary that there might be fingers up his butt very soon if he doesn't. His back is to him. I think he's like, I don't know what's gonna. I've heard about what they do. Anyway, I really love this chapter, and sorry, Sam, for jumping the gun there. I just really want to talk about it, obviously. So. Yeah, first off, I need to admit, this is the problem, I guess, in how often I read a chapter before we record, in that I completely missed the mask thing on the first read. So I just assumed that was her face there. Because that's not a ridiculous thing in One Piece. Anyway, I mean, we're in Wano. If someone's face looked like a mask, it's not. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. When people were talking about the Okiku reveal, you were like, I know, right?
Exactly. And
I can't believe her face looks like that.
I can't believe she's a guy. And more importantly, that her face looks like that. So this is like the first week since the official free global worldwide releases happened that I like got extremely spoiled. People were just sending like, Kiku's a man. Can you believe Kiku's a man? And since Kiku's a man, what do you think about this? I'm like, first off, don't spoil me, and that's not cool. Second off,
I got a tweet this morning about that, and I was like, I hope this wasn't for the chapter.
Yeah, and I knew it was at one point because they were also posting pictures of it. Guys, don't do that.
You just gotta block people like that. Like that's not cool.
I will be in the. I usually do, and I will be in the future. But some of them are like, I know, more out there, bigger fans, and I don't want to be a complete dick about it immediately. But you will be blocked if you do that. Because now it's free and legal everywhere. There's no excuse. Second off, though, and not a huge reveal to be spoiled on, luckily. And then I'm like, oh, well, her face looks like this, so at least I didn't get spoiled at the big thing. But I did, guys. No. It's not a big deal. Like, to be fair, of the reveals of this chapter, I seem to be the only one who thinks this. I thought Kawamatsu looked super fun and awesome and cool and ridiculous. I thought it was, kind of a typical Oda thing, combining the ridiculous and also awesome in one spread. I think that is just such a badass entrance. Like, I guess I'm the only one he was appealing to, because
maybe I'm all capping out. I guess I don't know.
I like his beak. He's got a weird little beak.
It was because you went to the bridge, Ed, and we saw that real Kappa that we were sworn to secrecy about. So the fictional ones just lose their. No, so I thought it was really cool. The thing with the sword, without the what's it called, the Suba? Didn't we learn that? Without the guard, is super cool. Yeah. I love everything about his entrance here. So I guess that was just me though. I think this is a good time though to remind people that Ryuo is just hockey and not that special kind of hockey that Luffy's working on. It's just the Wano word for hockey. That's correct, right, Steven?
I mean, I believe that is my assumption. If Oda is working on some kind of like very complicated and specific form of hockey, he is doing a really bad job of explaining that is what's going on. Because in all cases, it's like Hyo just says, "Oh yes, this is Ryo. This is our word for hockey," and I'm like, "Okay, that's the word for hockey,"
Because I feel like a lot of fans of ours, and not unreasonably, have gotten confused as to what Ryo is compared. It's synonymous with hockey.
Yeah, it's Hakam's razor.
We made this joke a lot. My favorite one was still Brian's from last week of Arkham's razor. So yeah, I think that's a super cool move too. That he, I guess, uses hockey to like push people off there. I guess it's kind of similar to the kind that Luffy has been training with, which seems to be a style used more commonly in Wano versus elsewhere. Where I think we saw it. Someone else mentioned we saw it not just with Sentomaru and and also with the Kami's thing. But I think one other time someone had mentioned, and now I completely forgot what it was. Anyway, seeing all of these old badasses, just as Steven put it, in yes, a more ragged form, but like I think people who have listened to this podcast for the last decade know I love people who are past their prime and looking awesome. And that's kind of what this chapter is. So that's and Ed, it focused on like one scene. So again, showing that you are correct. When they focus on one scene, I feel like a chapter just flourishes, and it definitely does here. We never leave this spot.
It's better. It's better on a week-to-week basis. I'm not really sure if it improves the volume reading.
Yeah.
But it's definitely easier week-to-week that way.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, we've talked for about an hour about this this chapter or captor. Anyway, on that note, let's do some piece together.
Yeah.
This is the Piece Together where we take your questions, comments, and theories, and then, we don't put, we need a pickle before anything else happens here. Let's get started. Or cucumber. Pickle or cucumber. Ed, what's our first
I don't know
segment?
what joke you're making.
Kappas,
really
man.
worked himself into a
Kappas,
pickle.
come on.
Kappas like cucumbers?
Pickle.
Yeah.
In order
Yes,
for
they
them
do.
not to poke you in the butt, is that correct, Alex?
Yeah, like I mean, they that's the thing they love to eat. Besides, the little butthole sole. It's it's a cucumber or a pickle.
I just assumed everyone had watched the.
Kappas every day.
I guess I assumed everyone had watched the new Kappa anime from last year.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, no,
It's
I haven't
actually
either.
really good. It's from the Utena director, and it's but they go hard on the butt stuff like in the first episode. So
So,
they do.
yeah,
are we calling
Hard on the butt.
calling this episode instead Butthole Soul? Because I don't know if I want to get an image for that. That seems
there's
uh,
I don't know. That doesn't actually appear in the chapter.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
in the future.
Lots to
Well,
come.
Well,
Lots to come.
Yet.
I'm sure
the
we'll get. I'm
octopus,
sure we'll get it.
The octopus in the anime, when it blinks, its eyes look like a butthole. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Ed, what's our first piece together segment called before we get too far into this?
Dispiece?
What do we got this week, Sam?
All right, we have quite a bit of this piece this week. Our
wow.
first comes from Narthon, who I think was trying to get in on last week's piece together, but didn't make it in time. I love that Luffy was always free. Awesome translation, Steven. Any thoughts on Big Mom's character? Without her memories, she is pretty kind and helpful. When her memories return, her first thoughts are of her children, then she becomes bloodthirsty. Which is the true Linlin?
It's interesting that her thinking of her children is an evil thing. It's
Well,
like,
her
oh,
children are also
she'd
evil.
be she'd be a much better mom if she just thought less about her children.
I thought it was really funny last week when she was actively trying to kill Luffy as Olin. She was just like, "What? You're not dead yet?"
Yes, for
So,
stealing
like, she's-
Yoshiroko from me and also everyone else.
She's a natural born killer, as I think that's what one of her flashback chapters was called. It's just kind of like in her blood to beat stuff up.
Yeah.
We all have talents.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's an issue of the true Linlin, because I think that's both like, she's like, that's kind of her childhood. Like Olin is sort of in her childhood mind, which is, that she is very she has a lot of appetite. She's kind of a hungry character. She's motivated by hunger.
She hasn't been led around by Streusen yet.
Yeah, her older self is like the more kind of cunning and devious style, but I think they're both fairly similar. One is less, her older self her present self is less innocent, obviously, but even in her innocent form, she's not an angel. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're both, like different parts along a scale of evolution. That's what I would say.
What's next?
Our next piece comes from Morgil, who says, "So in my yearly read-through, I just finished The Paramount War. At one point, Mihawk fights Luffy, and Luffy gets a brief vision of his arm getting cut off. Recently, it was made apparent that what Rayleigh did at the auction house was a preview of the advanced form of armament hockey. Could Luffy's vision similarly be a preview to the advanced future seeing form of observation hockey that he learned at Whole Cake Island? Do you think Oda really planned that far ahead for the future sight like he did with the collar breaking? P.S. I was watching a clip on Funimation's YouTube channel, and someone in the comments spoiled a big reveal from the next chapter and seriously pissed me off. The series is now free worldwide. There's literally zero reasons to keep reading scanlations, let alone spoiling things for honest, law-abiding people like us.
Yeah, welcome to the club there. Yeah, that's
PSS. So when's that Zoe read-through coming?
Okay. No, so now I forgot the original question.
So,
what was the original? Oh. So my answer is no, I don't think Oda planned that back then. But if you ask Oda, I think he would say, yes, he did.
Well, mantra was already like getting there, like Eneru's mantra.
Yeah, but I don't know if he had hockey in mind then. He might have had like some very vague concept of it. And I'd say maybe the same thing back then. But...
I remember this. Wasn't the first mention of hockey like when Blackbeard was basically introduced as Blackbeard for the first time?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's true, but hockey is also a word in Japanese, and so like that's another eternal debate of like was this like a preview of the word that Oda later comes to define within the series, or was he using it more in the original language sense?
I think Shanks going on Whitebeard's ship was the first, like, more definitive. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen. But that seemed to fit the context a little bit more to that word. I think that was the first time. And it was in the English version, if I recall.
I mean, I think given the way that he, like, the various ways that Oda has kind of developed hockey, like, it's clear that, like, I think you said last week that, this is just basically the Force in the One Piece world. And so, like, any kind of, sort of mental,
mystical.
Yeah, any kind of like mental power that does crazy things, that, someone who he decides is strong enough or is capable enough can unlock. Like that is, he can define that as some kind of hockey or some application of hockey. And I think that's kind of how he's been thinking about this stuff all along. I don't know, like the more that we go along, the more that like all of the like categories and sort of classifications of it make less sense to me. Like I think we're just sort of reaching towards, it's more of like an all encompassing, like learning to use it in certain ways. Yeah. That's my
Sam. Yeah.
I mean, like, I think, he definitely introduced mantra, which is sort of the basis of the Katakuri Future Sight hockey. And then he introduced hockey, and that was obviously related to mantra. So like the idea of hockey as like predicting moves ahead of time has always been prevalent since hockey got introduced. Like even like Luffy's dodging bullets and all that. So observation hockey is already just kind of like a more extreme version of that.
Any other questions from Discord?
Yes. Our next one comes from Huncho Jack. A question that's been on my mind for a while, and I just want to hear some thoughts. What do you guys think about Smoker's relationship / future with Luffy going forward in the series? This might be a small overreaction, but in the new Stampede trailer, we see Smoker clashing with Sanji. I don't want to discuss a power level thing or whatever. I'm more concerned that Oda okayed this interaction to happen because whenever we see Smoker interact with the Straw Hats, it's always him and Luffy. What I'm trying to address is that is this signaling the end of Luffy and Smoker's Garp / Roger relationship, or should it be taken with a grain of salt because it is a movie, and obviously in the movie Luffy has bigger fish to fry? What do you think is in store for Smoker for the rest of the series?
Yeah, like it's a movie. Like none of the movies are really like none of the events that happen in them are really canon.
And like imagine if back in the day when Garp and Roger went at it, like if on some adventures, like Garp went after Roger, but then bam, Rayleigh shows up and blocks him or something. Like that's not crazy.
I think that also you have to. Oda, I think, said something right before, like when they right when they announced there was a new One Piece movie coming this year, where he said, the scenario is really out there, and if that were the case, if the scenario happened in the story, then One Piece would end. But this is the 20th anniversary of the anime, so why let's go all out and do something really special. Or it was something to that effect. So I think this is going to you're going to see a lot of cool fan servicey stuff in this movie, and that'll be one of them.
This is like Pirate
from what I can
movie.
tell, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, Lucci and Smoker and Hancock and Buggy and Law and Luffy, they're all going to team up to fight this new bad guy, according to and Sabo, I guess, according to the last week's color spread. So take all this with a grain of salt. It'll just be a fun movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. But Smoker and Luffy's relationship is an interesting question, like where we see that going. I mean, I don't know if we've discussed this, but there's definitely that part of the Marines that you could see siding with Luffy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that side of the
Smoker's
Marines.
already done it twice.
Honestly, I think about the Luffy Smoker relationship probably more than anyone because I have the print of the manga art.
Oh, yeah.
I have the one from Punk Hazard with Law, Smoker, and Luffy, and that's what I'm staring at right now as I podcast. It's straight in front of me, so I'm like, I wonder what Smoker's up to. A lot.
I mean,
actually.
They're the Lupin and Zenigata of the series, right? They're sort of eternally meant to clash, but there are going to be plenty of situations where they're
on
sort
the
of
same side.
Yeah, they're common humanity. The thing that when something worse comes along, they will inevitably end up combining forces somehow.
Yeah, it's that thing that if Smoker ended up catching Luffy at any point, he'd be really depressed about it.
Yeah. You're like, what?
You're like, oh.
What's left to do with my life?
Isn't there's a show where that happens, and now I can't remember.
Joker and Batman kind of have that sometimes.
Oh yeah. That definitely did happen in the animated series. I feel like once, but anyway, what's next?
Our next disc piece comes from. We've got two more. Comes from our good friend Joe. Last week, you guys talked about hockey and its significance. The combination of the two chapters last week made me think, what if Luffy has to really use his hockey against Blackbeard, since Blackbeard has the ability to cancel out devil fruit powers? I also think Oda went in depth last chapter with his new hockey skill of destroying something from the inside, because that'll be how Luffy defeats Kaido. Luffy has even mentioned he needs a way to break through Kaido's scales. Just a few of my thoughts I wanted to share.
I agree.
Yeah, I totally buy. I've heard stuff like this before, like this idea that maybe there'll be a part of the series where Luffy loses his devil fruit powers and he has to rely only on hockey. And Blackbeard seems like a pretty good chance to do something like that.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, just obviously, from a simple practicality standpoint, yes, obviously, Luffy learning hockey here, from a story perspective, is meant to help him get to the level to beat the boss of the arc. That's just kind of the reason why you would have this sort of story development in the middle of it. But I do kind of like that particular tie-in of having it be related to his scales. That he's got such crazy defense, he can't be killed, right? Yeah. So obviously you need to find some way to undo his incredible defense.
And Luffy did punch him for a really long time to no avail, as we recall.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting. As a in-story response to Kaido's inability to die. He's so tough on the outside, but maybe hockey can destroy him from the inside.
Yep. Yeah. I basically said it, so I that would not surprise me. What's the last one?
Yes, our last disc piece comes from Straw Hat Pirate 9, who says, such a great weekend for One Piece. The Wano arc started beautifully, and the new chapter was amazing. Finally, we see the Kappa and Kiku. I love Kiku. They are so cool. That mask is the best. Now, if I remember correctly, wasn't Sanji hitting on that? Oh boy, what's going to happen to his brain when he finds out?
Maybe Sanji's gonna find out a lot about himself this time.
What would be really great is if he just can't process it. Like he's just like, no, she is a woman. Like
So
he
like,
just continues doing his thing.
Like
I think Maddie shared a panel of Sanji saying, it's on the inside what matters, and
Yeah.
he's about
Yeah.
He won't
Back
do
from the
that.
Bon Clay fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I could see him like the cannot compute thing would be funny, where he just nods, okay, and like just doesn't. And it's not like an understated joke about it. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see.
That's not even.
so many ways it can go right and so many ways it can go wrong.
Like that panel that I think Joey mentioned earlier in one of the tweets was the how he laments that Kinemon is getting all the ladies.
Yeah,
and maybe the
that, yeah.
punchline to that is like, "Ha! Guess you're not a ladies' man after," or something like that. But
Oh
that's still
yeah, you see that
actually-
would be clever. Yeah,
that would still be kind of bad, but
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
bad, but it would be the least bad.
Whatever's
What's the least
going
bad
on with-
thing you
We
could
don't have
say?
to rank them,
No. We're not
Okay,
gonna do
so for our next ranking, we're gonna go through all of. Anyway, let's go through some emails. First one
Rankings.
comes
Phobia.
ranking Sanji's transphobia, coming in 2074.
Let's not.
In 2074, if we're still doing this, I think we will. First one comes from Ryan. First email. So he mentions that in chapter 943, we learn about the importance of smile fruits, and we saw that if you don't receive animal powers, your emotions are taken away. So his question is, what are the odds that we see Law and or Chopper develop a medicine that would be able to restore the emotions of those that eat the smile fruits, with the exception of not being able to swim or whatever? And it could be a way for a kid to begrudgingly owe a favor to Luffy and Law. What do you guys think?
I thought about
Chopper
that,
does need
actually.
to work on his doctor that
Medicinal.
can. Yeah, his whole dream of being a
Chopper's
doctor that can cure
doctoring.
anything. Yeah, his dream is to be a doctor who can cure anything, right? So this falls under anything.
True.
Yeah, I hope that happens, in terms of like Chopper's development, but I also look at this as like a huge tragedy, and this is something that these people might just have to live with. And I mean, it's callous of me to say, but I think that when I that the revelation that this is what these people go through, it's such a tragedy. It's such it really affected me and the stakes of this arc, that I think that if this was something that they could just wash away, I don't know if I would 100% like that, but if it has to do with Chopper's development, then I would. There's caveats in terms of how much I would enjoy that, I guess.
I did like that. I mean, speaking of Chopper development, that he's kind of part of this main gang here. I completely forgot to mention that. I mean, it's nice to see Chopper not grouped with the same people that he always is, and kind of see him muscle around here.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a completely different note. But anyway, next question comes from Joshua. He said, first, he wanted to share that not only do I listen to the One Piece podcast each week, but I've also been checking out Toho Yaro, Toon Sweet, The Deep End, Cartoons 101. So thank you for making me aware of these gems. He also really enjoyed the JoJo Stands Devil Fruit Powers that we did last week. He has two questions. One's for me, one's for Steve. So Steve, when you get back next week, he wanted to know your thoughts on Hunter x Hunter, if you're listening. And for me, he was asking about my thoughts on Ava, which I talk about on Crewing Around a little bit. If you want to know any other thoughts about it, I have a thread on my Twitter account, Zach_Logan, where I'm posting those. And at the end, I'll do a post-mortem. And I'm thinking I am not going to watch End of Ava, but I'll see how I enjoy the ending.
Wait, you're considering not watching End of Ava?
You should definitely watch that.
Really watch End of Ava.
Well, I'm not done
Yeah.
yet, so I don't even
I mean,
know.
the TV ending is the perfect ending for me, but the movie is incredible to watch.
I feel like when Zach, not to put any opinions in his mouth, but I feel like once Zach watches the end of the TV series, he's gonna be like, wait, no, I need to watch this movie. That can't be it.
Yeah. Knowing Zach's need for, like, his extreme need, and I can't stress this enough, for closure, he's definitely going to watch the movie.
Alex is not incorrect about my extreme need.
Zach
for
would
closure.
have watched like 3 Lost movies.
No, you know what? No.
I was there at your apartment when you finished Monster.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah,
and you were
that
like,
doesn't.
that was it.
So about both of those series, Lost, I'm good. I'm done. Like I
Long
am
enough?
personally done. Yeah, it's been long. Like even a bunch of years ago. Like I don't need anything else. Monster, the more I've let it percolate, like the better I am with that ending. I'm only annoyed. I don't want to talk about the ending to Monster for people. I'm a little annoyed about it. I'll just put it like that, but not because of the lack of closure. That's not the element of it that I don't like.
Where are you in Ava right now, Zach?
I'm episode 20 right now. I'm
So
the
you're
same where I
almost
was
there.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 6 more episodes. I watch it on my commutes, which I think is a interesting way to watch that. It's a heavy show to watch on the train.
Maybe don't
Looking
watch
over their shoulder.
maybe don't watch End of Ava on the train.
Yeah, that's it's already a weird over the shoulder show to watch. Yeah, anyway, that's that question. Where was I here? Where's the next question? Is that it? I thought we had more. I think that's it. Steven, what do we have?
All right, we only have
Reddit.
2. Yeah, we only have 2 comments on Reddit, but they are pretty good ones. So we'll start with Trevi, who says, finally, after several weeks of comments saying Kawamatsu got out, but it was clearly stated he was chained to the wall in chapter 936. How hype is his design? Watch out, Urashima. He is coming back for his title he never lost. And can we say Kiku and that mask? Wow. Poor Chopper thinking he is known. I predict at the end of this, Chopper will be known throughout Wano as a great healer.
There'll be statues of him, a la Dressrosa.
I would not be opposed to that.
No, me neither.
Also, I feel we are in for a surprise base that will meet the rebellion's needs. This is what I feel Shutenmaru is showing Kinemon. What are your thoughts on what Ashura is showing Firefox? Appreciate what you all do each week. Yeah, we've been doing the Udon prison story for several chapters now, so I'm starting to forget where the other characters we left off. Yeah, we did not see that.
I thought maybe it would have been Dendra's grave or something like that, or
yeah. Although I guess there's some new controversy about that with the anime.
Yeah. If that doesn't happen and if that doesn't get addressed and pieced together, we haven't talked about that yet. So.
Oh, you didn't talk about that in the anime.
We haven't, no, because I thought I thought maybe it's somebody pieced a tweet at us about it, but
okay.
But we should talk about that at some point.
Okay. Anyways, that was Travis' comment, and our other comment on Reddit is from Pink Chorizo, who says, "Hey there, OPB, greetings from Argentina. First of all, I wanted to thank you for being an awesome companion to the experience of reading One Piece week to week since I discovered you last year. My passion for the series has been reignited since then, in big part due to the awesome events that are occurring since the end of Whole Cake, and also thanks to being able to share, in a way, this experience with you guys. It's also really great to finally have a way of reading One Piece digitally in a legal way here. We've been waiting a long time for that. Now, onto the current events. I've been thinking for the past few weeks that Hyogoro's reaction to Luffy's action and haki abilities is kind of making a parallel with Oden. Now, we know that Luffy's training and wisdom comes in great part from the Dark King Rayleigh himself, and that Oden was a part of Roger's crew during their voyage to Raftel. So do you think that Oden could have influenced Roger's crew and maybe taught them a few haki tricks, and that influence may now be circling back to Wano through Luffy? Again, a huge thank you to everyone there for the amazing work you do. Keep it up.
Hockey tricks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, it's not really
Knuckle
clear.
pucks.
It's not really clear where, like, I mean, we know Roger's from Logtown, but we don't really know much about his childhood or anything, or what he would have known or not have known. But it seems like people with the D in their name are like born for, they're marked for something. So maybe there's more hockey
related. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
They have more hockey. Well, Doflamingo wasn't a D, and he definitely had a lot of hockey.
Well, there's other things too.
Yeah, I don't really think hockey is something that's like, for lack of better terms, Western or Wano. Like an outsider thing that was brought in. I don't know if there's like any reason to think that, especially since they have their own name for it. That makes me think that it might be something that's internal.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, yeah, they have the Ryuo thing too, and also like we saw on Amazon Lily, I think there are some examples of like sort of isolated groups of people who have some particular application of hockey that they are good at or that they practice, that they're kind of masters of. So I wouldn't be that surprised. I think he would have to do some like pretty heavy explaining for that all to make sense within the story, but I think there's something to that idea. It's a neat idea for sure.
No, it is, yeah. And I'm sure Roger brought something over besides disease. No, it's a lot of colonists bring.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be in Argentina this fall, so let me know if there is any One Piece
Ooh.
stuff I should be
Nice.
checking on, or non-One Piece stuff. That's it for Reddit.
That's it for Reddit.
So Ed, it's time to
Peace the tweet. Peace tweet
that's
time.
Yeah, always good to hear.
Okay. So Usopp, first one comes from Usopp the Great, who says, "So this may have been an SBS, but if a human ate the human devil fruit, how much more human would they be? Like superhuman, or just like double human?"
No, Rob Zombie, more human than human.
I thought that am I imagining this, or did he actually answer this in an SBS with like a little doodle of like a really, really hairy dude?
I think he did. That sounds super familiar.
That does
Sounds
sound
right. Yeah.
It sounds like him. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Yeah. What's next?
Next one comes from P. Jensfeld, who says, "Is Over the Top the first opening since We Go that dude actually likes?"
That's a good question.
I mean, I liked Hope. I liked Hope a lot. So no, it's not.
Hope is
Like,
definitely
very close.
Hope is definitely the best of that period between We Go and this.
Yeah, Hope is one that I didn't like immediately, but it definitely grew on me, and I really liked it by the end of it.
It's a solid one.
Yeah, and I liked We Can to a certain degree. Everybody else like took a huge dump on We Can.
I would join them in taking that dump.
Like We Can is fine. Like
The song's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, yeah, I've liked Hope. Like Hope, I've liked that one a lot. And then this, I guess, the next one that I really, really like. Yeah, I took too. You'll find out early on in the episode that we have our criticisms with our first hearing of it, I guess. But I want to hear the full version of it, not just the TV size.
Probably won't for a little while though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they did announce the single is coming out at some point, along with it has another track
song
on there. Yeah, which I wonder if it'll be another version of We Are.
I bet you. Or
All right, next one comes from Ross Manthorpe, who says, "Kiku's wiki page is already hellish. I hope this is handled well in the story, but am I wrong for worrying?"
Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at that wiki page.
I was gonna say, or am I
Zach probably
worried?
goes to the wiki more than anyone else on this podcast.
Am I worried about how the wiki page is going to be handled? Hell yes. Am I worried about how Oda's going to handle this?
Less so.
Mostly, but less so. Mostly, but less so. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
I'm gonna say is that
Okay.
it's a wiki, so this isn't like the information is stuff that anybody can add, and anybody can be biased. Whoever adds
Yeah.
this information, so
Yeah, it's
Hopefully
it's
they have
completely out
like
of our control.
safeguards in place there, but I don't know. I haven't looked at it, so I'm not really sure
The
what he's talking about.
the wiki is a good resource sometimes, but sometimes it's a dangerous place. Like anything. I mean, Wikipedia has. Yeah.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. That's the wiki way. What's next?
Also, I
Steven.
will say that logging on to the One Piece subreddit and seeing a thread that was like, we will have no, like, please do not get bogged down in political discussions of of transgender, all these topics like that, and seeing that it had 500 comments on it, and I was like, I cannot. You could not pay me enough money to read that thread.
That's on the regular One Piece subreddit?
Yeah.
boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
That's
should probably downvote that. Isn't that what that's for? Yeah, what's next?
I don't know how that. Anyway, Return to Sabati says Kawamatsu gets a Smash Brothers reveal. It says he's a Yokozuna. So did Urashima take his place after he was imprisoned, or is there a Yokozuna for each region of Wano?
I'm assuming he was the original one, right? Or
I think so.
earlier one.
Like, cause like when you're Yokozuna, you're like the champion. You're the champion of the country. Like
Right.
you're on top. So
Mhm.
I mean, and also there can be more than one Yokozuna at a time. But Urashima seemed like he was young, pretty young. So
It's like Yokozuna's the president, and I'm sure governor has a different title, but I'm sure it's not Yokozuna.
it'd be like Ozeki or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
I trust Ed here.
Stacey Chen says, I'm loving the new Prison Break crew this arc. If you had to break out of jail, who would you want with you?
It is true that Grant was doing Impel Down, and at the same time we were doing another prison break in the manga here.
Hashtag free Luffy.
Good hashtag. Who would we want on our prison break crew? Good question.
Frankie, that'd be pretty great. He's very useful.
Yeah, Frankie would be useful. The Straw Hat Pirates. Trying to think of any other. I mean, the Impel Down crew was like made for breaking out of a prison because you had Inazuma, who was like literally able to cut up floors and walls and stuff.
Mhm.
Crocodile, who could like literally.
Oh, Mr. 2 with the face changing power, and Mr.
Yeah.
3 with the candle power. Like the wax
undo
power is very
locks.
useful. Yeah.
Yeah, he could literally make locks. Yeah, I mean keys.
Mr. 1 was there too.
Yeah, I would go with the Impel Down crew, though I wouldn't trust any of them, and rightfully so. It is a prison break. You're not supposed to trust them.
All right, and next one comes from Dinsfire03, who says, just occurred to me that the Straw Hat crew may not get many fights this arc due to the presence and importance of the Akazaya 9. Might be a repeat situation of Dressrosa's battles, where, if you remember, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, future Straw Hat Grand Fleet, got a lot of fights, and the half the Straw Hats left.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a legitimate thing that you could probably knock. We haven't seen it yet, but I do think it is quite possible that the Straw Hats will kind of take a bit of a back seat in certain parts of this arc because there is so much of a local history being built, and that's kind of a consequence of trying to flesh out a location as richly as Oda is doing here. Is that by definition it can't be as Straw Hat centric as a lot of the earlier arcs are, and there are upsides and downsides to that, and so I don't know. I can't necessarily reassure anyone that won't be the case, or that you can't argue against this arc or knock this arc down a peg or two, because it's quite possible we just may not have as much Straw Hat stuff.
That was my favorite question this week.
No, I believe that things will be Straw Hat focused. Like just on one hand, it feels like it's been long enough since we've had like a very traditional series of one-on-one fights. But also I think Oda's been playing like a very particular long game with like splitting the Straw Hats back up so that it's we have a chance to like miss them being together, and then when they're all together again, it's gonna feel good.
At least some of them have been together with each other for the entire thing.
Right.
Like Chopper
Like
and Luffy here.
it's never completely held down. But
Yeah, that
it's
would really irritate me. I mean, it already is not great, but I agree. I think he's setting something up down the line. I'm hoping we get like an Oars thing though.
Yeah, I think when the crew is all together for the first time, like it's going to be a big scene.
And they were together at the beginning, so and it's not like
no, Zoro wasn't there.
Okay, well, Zoro's always
Zoro never made it.
He's
well,
he got lost while riding on.
Even that group didn't have like Robin and Frankie and Usopp. Like they've been kind of like splitting up and like pooling into each other's groups and stuff.
Yeah, but they've been like splitting up and then reforming because then most of everyone else did end up meeting up with that group. So
and eventually one of them is going to be the one where it's like, oh, it's all of us. It's all 10 of us, maybe Jinbei. Or no. This is what it's going to be.
Sorry,
Jinbei's going to show up. We're building up to, like, oh, we're going to have the 10 Straw Hats together again finally. But when they end up together, it's not going to be just the 10 Straw Hats. It's going to be the entire alliance. It's going to be all 10 Straw Hats, all the samurai, all the minks, all the
that's what
pirates.
we've been. Yeah, that's what we've been leading up towards since Zoe when they declared that alliance. So that would make sense. Yeah,
the pirate, ninja, samurai, mink alliance. Yeah,
it's like, why did you include ninja in there? It's a good question. Ed, any other piece?
Let me see here. Yes, there's one more question from CEO253 who says, "Hey OPP, the thought occurred to me that since Usopp's lies tend to come true, maybe the toad oil otoko rubbed on Yasu will lead to a Pagaya-like return."
No,
I hope not.
Look, that was a great gag then, but would not work here.
There's more death in One Piece now.
I would say that would be a better cure for the smile fruits than
God,
that used to break that.
Oh man,
that would be great.
That would be
insane.
I don't know if I like that.
Was that the last one, Ed?
That was the last one. Yes.
Because all right, so we should talk about the thing that the anime opening thing. They flash all the members of the Akazayan 9 that we've seen so far. Kawamatsu is obscured, of course, but on the panel of Ashura Doji, Kyoshiro is with him. So did the anime spoil Denjiro's true identity? Is that the?
Well, it could be that Denjiro is dead and Kyoshiro like takes his place.
So I'll say this. So Alex, you could probably remember better than me, or Ed might remember better than me. But one of the editors, and I don't remember which, during our OPP10 interview, which we'll have soon, I guess, said Kyoshiro was their favorite character or something along those lines of Wano. Of Wano.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, I assumed he was an important character to begin with, but that it doesn't say anything conclusively in any direction, but it does kind of
it doesn't, because I like Kyoshiro a whole lot. Like, I think he's a really imposing figure.
But I think it adds credence to the fact that he might be one of the Akazayan 9. We all had predicted, I think, that he might be. That's been a prevailing theory here.
Yeah. The only thing that throws me off is the last chapter when you had the you had that figure, that silhouetted figure with the hat.
With the
and the
like
ponytail,
the straw thing in his mouth.
Yeah, and with that long ponytail, I'm like, that's probably Denjiro. So I wonder if Kyoshiro is just there as either a red herring or perhaps or a placeholder. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting that they'd put him there and reveal something to the manga audience in an anime.
You know what's crazy? They may have thought. I mean, so let's say Kyoshiro is one of the Akazayan 9. they may have thought that Oda was supposed to already have revealed that in the manga when the anime opening came out. Like maybe that was something that was planned and then something happened and like I don't know that
maybe that's the next chapter.
Yeah, like exactly. like maybe it was
because Yasu got into that opening real tight. Like
yeah,
oh my God.
like
Yeah.
What was that, a month ago? Like
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Not that long.
Weren't we in Japan
I'm actually
when
really
that happened?
shocked.
Or was that right before?
Yeah.
I think we were.
I
think that chapter.
There were
Right
two
around that
chapters
time.
when we were there.
It was
right?
the one
Yeah,
with
that's right.
Killer.
Killer one, and the one before that was, I think, the Yasuie one,
yeah,
or maybe
One of
that
the
was
aftermath chapters.
it might have been. It might have been the one right after that.
yeah, it was the one after he had gotten shot up.
That's pretty freaking. Wait, I could look this up right now. What am I doing? We have an entire
But,
archive available to us.
Yeah, while you're doing that, yeah, that was the opening is like super spoilery, and it yeah, it made me wonder a lot about it kind of reminded me about how a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, I guess at this point, when the Better Start Living Before You Start Dying t-shirt with Ace on it
was ready to go.
And
Cospa,
Tropical Pink Hand.
yeah,
I had
that's right. That was it was available a week before that chapter actually came out, because I remember that's when I was still like scans were still a thing, and that chapter had literally just dropped, like the one where Ace dies, and then that same day, Cospa.com or whatever, like it was showing their officially licensed One Piece merch with that print on it, and I lost my shit. And this was before like the chapter was available for readers in Japan, like. That's a huge spoilie.
So the Yasuie chapter where he actually gets executed is chapter 942 that came out May 12th. The aftermath was May 26th. There was a week off between that.
Yeah.
So let's say Oda, like how far in advance do you think Oda actually puts the chapters together? I think we've actually gotten an answer to that in the past, and I don't remember.
But I mean, the anime staff did mention in some interview somewhere they get the chapters a week before they go into print.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
about when I get them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they give it to them when Steven gets them. But at the same time, okay, so they get it a week. I'm assuming Oda does it well before that, because we know it goes through several, they've had those TV specials where they go through this, where it goes through several rounds of stuff, and he has the sketches first and then he draws them out. So I'm not
Well, that's like that is the weekly process.
right.
I don't know. I think Oda is closer to the deadline than you think.
That's well, I also know that the anime is usually closer to the deadline than I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess those two
know,
things
like,
together.
Traditionally, the chapters are supposed to be in like 3 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
they
I was
stockpile
thinking, like a
them.
month.
But like
I was gonna say.
I'm sure certain artists are on different schedules.
And I guess
Yeah.
Oda, they would give the most leniency toward, like, if anyone they're going to give time to, it's going to be Oda.
Well, let me just put it this way. Like, I get the chapters on different days depending on the week. So if he was stockpiling them ahead of time, that would not happen.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers that question.
Mhm.
So, I mean, May 12th to what's today, July 7th, is a month and a half. That's still very quick turnover to draw that in. But yeah, so who knows? I know that there's stuff like FMA, Brotherhood, where they actually timed the release of like the anime and the end of the manga. I'm not like with the stuff with Denjiro and Kiyoshiro. I don't know if that was something that was supposed to be like that, or if it was just a placeholder to finish out that discussion. Any other thoughts pieced together? Anyone there?
Crickets. Let's move on.
Let's round off and do a little trivia. This has been the One Piece podcast for July 7th, 2019. Before we get into our part 3 of our Vivre card trivia, which we're only doing to 3 points this time because I have learned my lesson, let's say. I want to remind everyone out there that please to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. We have a brand new podcast series. I don't know how often it'll be out. It's called Crewing Around. It's about us screwing around and talking about whatever. This time we talked about, let's see if I can remember, we talked about the weather because of course we talked about the manga we're reading and the anime we're watching. We talked about places we'd like to live. Do you remember, Steven? You have a better memory, I feel like, than I do.
Let's see. We talked about favorite foods,
Yes.
music.
Why the Mets suck.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just everything. We just it was very free form.
We talked about some Friday news from Anime Expo.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. So
A little bit.
check that out if you haven't. Of course, we also have 3,500 plus pictures from OPP 10 on there. Videos, we'll be posting more of those either early or exclusively on our Patreon channel. We have the entire full-length OPP Japan documentary, which is me and Greg in Japan back in 2013, interviewing Oda's homeroom teacher, seeing who Zeph was based off of. There's some really cool things there. If you have not checked that documentary out, that's available for all patrons. So that's $1 and up on patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. And yeah, I want to give a big thanks to Jill and Dennis for helping cover the AX for us, at least that 20th century panel, 20th anniversary panel. I know Steve was also out there, so I hope you guys all had a chance to say hello to him. Big thanks to Shannon for coming on the show. She had to take off, unfortunately, we go on forever, so that makes sense. You could check her on Twitter at Plenty of Alcoves. And her YouTube is youtube.com/Strucci movies. Yeah, so let's go around the horn. Sam, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw. They can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, Black Clover, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. And they can find me on the One Piece podcast every week doing the anime recaps.
Thank you, Sam. And I'm sure you have a new set of excitement for the anime recaps.
Sure
I'm
do.
assuming. Yeah. Steven.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, there he is.
Sam was
want me
ready
to-
to fill in for you there.
Okay.
I was going to do your bit.
No,
yeah,
you
you
go.
You can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus, and you can read my work for One Piece and Samurai 8 every week on, let's see, I think it's both shonenjump.viz.com and viz.com/shonenjump. Either one will work, and also mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp.
Perfect. I also think Sam would probably have been the best voice match for Steven, so that works out. Alex.
I'm the guy who
fun.
replaces you when you can't
Exactly.
do the voice anymore.
You're my understudy.
Yeah.
You two have very soothing, similar.
I'm
I
the
guess,
Damon
baritone
Mills
voices.
to your Chris Ayers.
Okay.
Alex.
Hey, so you can find me on Twitter at @dude!, all one word. Listen to Tohoyaro, the Japanese Film Club podcast that I do with Joey and Scott. Go to superartfight.com/merch and buy Cute Animals on Fire, the card game that I helped make with Super Art Fight. And speaking of Super Art Fight, I will be with them at Otakon this year. That's right, Otakon at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in beautiful Washington, D.C. There's an asterisk next to the word beautiful, depending on how much you enjoy looking at construction. Our shows are Friday, July 26th at 6 p.m. and Saturday, July 27th at 10 p.m. That will be our 18 plus Super Art Fight Unleashed show. So if you have any
Dicks.
it's basically dicks and vaginas and anything that is very dark, sick, and twisted, and absolutely 100% 18 years and older. Please come to that. And also every Saturday, except for that Saturday and Sunday, until August 4th, please come see Starship Odyssey, the sci-fi improv show that I am in. It's at Source on 14th Street in Washington, D.C. If you're in the area between now and then, please come and see the show. It's amazing. It's always different because everything is made up on the spot. And there's also lights and costumes and sounds and stuff. It's pretty incredible. That's my plugs.
Thanks, Alex. I need to make my way down there to see that.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I do. Ed, where could people find us?
Here's Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. You can also find me twitter.com/weeb trailers, posting old anime trailers. You can give that a look. The podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is the Skype name. Patreon.com/onepiecepodcast, as Zach was saying. Please support us there. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Spotify. That's right. And subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
MAJI.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, theories, or why you were actually wearing a mask all along. So let's go through some trivia. So we have been doing trivia for a little while now on the show, but the last few we've been diving into my Vivre card books, which, you know, now I think we have enough booster packs where we could do some interesting stuff with them. So what we have been doing is a kind of guess the character game. I will give random facts that I make up on the spot, and everyone here will try and figure out who the character is. We're going to go in the same order we did the manga recap in. I'm going to give Ed first bite here, then Steven, then... Unless you really don't want it, Ed.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Then Sam, and then Alex. I like mixing it up sometimes. That's why sometimes you're first, sometimes you're not. Because you're always first in the manga, and in my.
Well, some weeks I have more than one page, but not lately.
So we're gonna go through that. The first person to reach 3 points wins. If you do not get it, everyone else has a chance to steal in that order. So Ed, Steven, Sam, Alex. Ed. And obviously, if it's an obvious character, I'm going to find out some other ways to ask you questions and make it harder, because don't pick an obvious character. Ed, pick the first number.
300.
There you go. That's how you do it. You just pick a number like 300, and I go to the page. I also have some new booster packs, by the way, so we will probably get some new things in this. You guys have picked... guys have picked
300
that.
is... Gerard Butler, right?
I'm going to pick someone.
No, it's Sparta.
I'm going to pick someone close to that since 300 is not available. This person's birthday, his birthday, is on February 9th. He's 47 years old, or young. 689 centimeters compared to Luffy's 174 centimeters. His blood type is X. On the back, we have drawings of him as a kid, him as a woman, and him just completely different. It seems, though, that he originally had some of Shiki's design in him, because there is a wheel attached to his head in the original concept drawings, which I'm shocked about, and this is the first time I have learned about that. Yeah, so...
7 years old.
He is 40... I'm going to say 47. He's 689 centimeters. There are pictures of him as a kid, as a woman, and concept drawings where he had Shiki's design. I'm still, like, kind of.
37 years. Yama?
No.
No? Okay.
Steven.
I don't know. Whitebeard?
Sam.
No, that's not right.
Kuma.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give the number because it's one of the new ones, too.
I was focusing on the height.
267.
I was like,
Yeah,
he's got
that's... So, I mean, if I'm not going to give you hints, because then I'll make it too easy. Steven, go ahead.
163.
What we got? 163. 65, 64. Okay, so you want 62 or 64?
162.
162. Oh god, this one's gonna be easy. I have no way because I go through these facts every time. All right. She's born on September 8th, 141 years old, 188 centimeters, blood type S. Who is she?
Dr. Correa.
Yeah.
Age
Got
gives
lucky
it away.
there.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Sam.
290.
See, I'm giving the basic facts for everyone, so if you get lucky and get someone weird like that, 290. Oh god, you guys are like picking the same range where there's like none. Pick a different number, like something different.
380.
380. Thank you. Moving away from that. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm gonna give you. Do you want 377 or 387?
377.
Yeah, I'll give you the same.
Or 877.
Didn't you say 370?
Oh yeah. You're
Or 380
right.
or something like that. Okay, 377. This person, he is born on June 2nd, though in parentheses, I don't know Japanese, but I'm guessing an alternate date might be August 10th. That's not going to help you at all, though, because I don't know what the hell they're talking about. He is 30 years old, 212 centimeters. His blood type is XF. He has 2 cards. Him and the person he shares, him and the thing that he shares the card with have 2 cards for 377. One card has him as a kid, and some sketches. The other one has some sketches from his more recent design. Again, he's 212 centimeters compared to Luffy's 174 centimeters, and he has 2 cards. Who is he?
So he's tall, but not like inhumanly tall. 30 years old. Why would he have 2 cards?
He was 28.
That's the thing.
He was 28.
He was 28. Why would he have 2 cards?
It's a hard
I'm
one.
going to give you 3 seconds. Yeah, it's a little bit of a harder one, but you could do the math.
Shoot. Drake?
No. Alex.
All right. What was his
Do you need
number?
me to read anything again? 377.
377.
He shares his card with 378. Both of them.
3 seconds.
Yeah.
He shares the card with 378.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have 2 cards. 2
No, he
things
does.
are on his card.
No, both.
Oh,
Both.
Oh, okay.
I think I know who the answer is now.
Yeah, I could tell Ed is chomping at the bit here. Alex,
yeah.
I'm going to give you 3 seconds here.
Is it Law?
No. Ed.
Spondum?
No. Steven, you get the last bite at this apple.
He's 38 or
Law.
30.
What a
He's
dumb.
28,
Never mind, he's not that
30.
much
28. 28
He's
through
30
30.
today, but he was 28. Yeah. Because of the 2
Oh
times.
man. Apu?
All right, since no one got it, I'm going to give one more hint. In the first one, he's wearing black, and in the second one, he's wearing white. Sam, do you want to try it again?
Lucci?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I
isn't
thought it was Spondum and
No, it's Rob Lucci and Hattori. If you said Hattori, I
right,
would have given
'cause-
you just 2 points. If you just said Hattori.
Right, because Rob Lucci has his CP0 one separately,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking that Spondum might also have another card because he's also CP0.
No, that was a very good guess. You were like just about there. I'm like, so
Yeah.
close. Okay, Alex, you're
And-
next.
So do I get
Yeah.
that point?
Yeah, so that means if you get one more, you win, Sam. So the score right now, Sam has 2, Steven has 1. Alex has not went yet, but Ed has 0. Alex,
I'll do 127.
127. You guys like the low numbers here.
I mean, well, I can go higher.
No. 127's good. We have not done 127, and it's actually a card. This person, he is 73 years old. His birthday is June 4th. He's 203 centimeters. His blood type is XF. Let's see what other interesting hints. One of my favorite gags is on the back of this card. Particularly in the anime, I think this was one of my favorite gags.
Is it Crocus?
Yeah. Oh, was that too obvious?
I mean, it depends on how well.
He's 73 years old, so I was going to end it. Yeah, that's a more Zach.
There's only so many characters that old.
I love that gag so much.
A generic zombie.
Old man zombie.
Okay, Ed.
87.
87.
Is that a card?
I'm gonna let you know in a second.
Okay.
86 is a card.
Okay.
My first hint will be someone who's not here would have really enjoyed getting this card. His birthday is June 1st. He's 25 years old for some reason. 239 centimeters, blood type F. And he's on the back giving Sanji a wallop.
Pearl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet Steve is like, why the fuck wasn't I on this list?
I didn't.
That's 86.
I would have thought his number would be lower, but
yeah, me too. But it isn't. Steven.
Mr.
All right. 187. Murder was the case that they gave me.
I don't know that reference. Let's see, 180. Wow, there's a lot in this category here, like this group here. Okay.
Rob Lucci is 6'11"?
Don't look at your Vivre card. Oh, 6'11", you mean?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Lucci's page.
Okay, 188 is what I'm gonna give you because there's no 187. Okay, I remember the English. My first hint will be that the Vivre card's name is different than his actual English name. He's great and everyone loves him. Eye roll. No, not eye roll in the way you're thinking, but eye roll in that they don't really like him. August 17th is his birthday. He's 17. Anyway, he's 190 centimeters. And he is not human.
17.
That is gonna really throw you off.
Oh boy.
He is an animal.
He's an animal.
Yeah, the age is bizarre and I don't get it, but I don't know how old that this animal lives.
Makes sense if you don't think about it. Like, I think I might know who this is.
Everyone hates him. I don't mean like us and fans. I mean in the actual world. No one really likes him.
Donald Trump.
I don't.
He's 17 years old.
I'm so confused.
He's a robot.
Flip those numbers.
Any other hints?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think those are pretty good hints, especially given like the time frame he's in. Like, I don't know how else to like describe him without just giving away the whole farm here. And I don't just say that because he's an animal. Although you would not see this animal at a farm, any farm I've been to. Any last guesses here, Steven, or no?
No.
Sam?
He's 17. He's an animal of some kind. What's his height? Can I ask?
190 centimeters. 17 years old. August 17th. Blood type F. That doesn't help anyone at any point.
Animals really have blood types,
and no one likes him. And no one likes him.
Is it Papag?
No.
Alex
likes him. 90 centimeters compared to
no
Luffy's?
190 centimeters.
Oh.
I said 190.
I was going on faulty information here. Can I get a do-over?
Can he not? Because I think I know the answer.
Alex, go for it.
Is it Eyelash, aka Matsuge?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because his name
all right.
isn't his quote unquote name isn't on the Vivre card, but it actually is because Matsuge is Japanese for eyelash.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
that was a hint too. When I said that. Sam, you get this one, you win. What number are you going to choose?
555.
555. 555.
555.
I'm gonna give you 557.
Okay.
She is 31 years old. Her birthday is September 2nd. She's 191 centimeters. They give her dimensions, which I could give if you want. I don't think they'll mean anything to you, though. Unless you... I mean, do you want them, Sam? I could give them to you, whatever.
I mean, they're in metric anyway. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not even gonna
exactly. Her bust is 111. Her width is
Waist,
What does that
Zach,
mean?
waist.
Waist. That makes more sense. 61 centimeters. What
I
does
wish Eric
H
was here
stand
this.
for there? Is that height still? Because that's not the same number.
What's her waist?
Hip.
Hip.
Hips.
Oh, that's it. 91 centimeters. It's One Piece. None of those will make any sense for any female character, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but
So, anyway.
It could be like a skinny girl, or it could be a big girl. I don't know.
Okay, well, she's
What's
a
her width?
91 centimeter hip size. I
I didn't get waist yet.
said waist. Waist was
you?
61.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a.
Oh
she's
yeah,
skin-
because women have different waists than. Okay, yeah. it wasn't
Anybody
like
that Oda gives the measurements to is not a thick lady.
I mean, I kind of
That's
have
true.
a guess.
and
30. You said. Oh, is
Yeah, she's 31.
it Hancock?
It is. Sam, you are our winner today.
Nice.
Good job. I was gonna give you another hint, but I didn't realize that the size and the dimensions would give the.
My guess was wrong anyway. So.
What were
Well,
you gonna
I
say,
think-
Ed?
I thought it was Sadie from the Impel Down.
Oh.
Oh, but you also have to figure that this is like I don't know. This is a character where like oh yeah we're gonna give the measurements because this
Yeah.
is probably an important character,
Yeah.
and usually he'll give those to the Straw Hat ladies.
No, that's how you guys are supposed to play this game that I made up. That's exactly the way.
Well, I know. Like Hancock is like. Her deal is her stats are like all like one more than Robin. Like she's 1 year older than Robin. She's like 1 inch taller than Robin.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Sam, I have a question before
yes.
we close off.
Yeah.
If you had that do-over, who were you going to guess?
Oh, I was gonna go for like a new Fishman pirate.
Ah,
Steven, next week are we doing the magazine or the volume? Did you have a did we
Pick your
decide
poison.
that? Pick my okay. So does anyone here have a preference? I feel like the volume is more pressing.
I have the magazine, but I mean, either one is fine with me.
Yeah, they're both good because the magazine is also the Wano special. So, you know.
All right, maybe I'll do a poll on Twitter. That seems fair.
There you go.
Or on Patreon. One or the other. Or both. So we'll find out next week. We'll be either doing the magazine number 6 with Steven or volume 93 with Steven. That's going to be a lot of fun, regardless. So please, those are some of our most fun episodes, or at least definitely our most informative episodes. So
Yes.
stick around with us next week for that. Dan Dockery will be on the 28th instead of the 14th, since Brian already came on anyway. He tends to do that. So we'll be seeing him then. But until next week, everyone, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
and my name is Alex.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So long.
He says to prep the playgrounds. Oh my god, I still did that pun. Anyway, he tells them to prep the playgrounds and prepare for battle. And
Prepare the
and-
slide. Prepare the swings. Prepare the whirly thingy.
Oh, slip and slide.